Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Long time no see, some of you. Been busy the last couple of weeks. Just one of those things that had happened. Some of you may have heard, some of you may have not. But 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were out running errands and we got home. My dog was ill. Long and short of that is we brought her into the vet and found out she had a massive stroke. And so for the last 2 weeks, we've been taking care of her, and I'm happy to say that she's doing real good. If you would have seen her on the 16th, be honest with you, we were ready to dig a hole. And she has done a 180-degree turnaround. And if you'd see her, like I said, today, compared to what she was on the 16th of February, you wouldn't think it's the same dog. But that being said, so that's why I didn't stream that Sunday. And then the following Sunday, which was last weekend, I was just too busy taking care of things that we couldn't get done that weekend. And then plus what you got to do in the normal household for the week. But that being said, here we are. But unfortunately, we had to pull an audible. So Marty had to take a trip and go and see his parents. And so there was a scheduling conflict. So he could not be here with us today to do the blind tasting. So hurried up, changed everything. And you know me, twist my arm to drink a scotch. I was at a Bruichladdich tasting last Saturday and figured let's talk a little Bruichladdich. So I called an audible. As I saw the things change, I just said, boom, we're going this direction. I talked to Mr. Greatshot, and he's like, yes, 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 I will be here. So here we are, and we're going to do a little Bruichladdich talking, and I'm already starting off with it. So I poured a little in the glass here, and as a matter of fact, this is one of the little tchotchkes. Might be hard to see, but come on, you going to focus, or are you focusing? There we go. Bruichladdich. This is one of the things that they gave me from the event, and then being that somebody left one, well, I need one for the other hand too. So boom, I picked it up. But it is good to see you all. Thank you for coming over here this afternoon, this evening, morning, wherever you are on this big ball of a world. Really appreciate everybody. Don't forget, smash that like button and tell everybody you saw me. I am here. But again, great to see you. Let's see who popped in. Yes, Top Dog. Cheers, brother. Appreciate you. Hey, Douglas. Cheers. Always great to have you here. Mr. Stahl. Cheers. Just let me know and we'll take it from here. Appreciate you. Paul. Cheers, man. Glad to see you. Peter. Always great to see you. Thank you for popping in here. And yes, Eric. Appreciate you, brother. And also thank you, Eric, for being that link between me and everybody else who was concerned about Olivia. Really do appreciate that. That saved me a lot of texting or calling or whatever, because I do know there was many people concerned. So cheers to you, sir. And thank you for spreading the word. Really appreciate that. Ooh, I do love a classic Lottie, let me tell you. Mr. Mom, cheers, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, Cool Running. See, they're from all over the world here. Got Ireland represented here today. And there we go. Across the pond in the UK is the man, the myth, the legend, James. Cheers, man. Appreciate having you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. You heard it here first. Breaking news. No live wire tonight. He's just not feeling well. I understand. After the stressful week my wife and I had and everything I had going on and running around last weekend, is like, I just needed to spend some time, get some things done, relax. I popped on live wire for a little bit, had a drink with Mike and the rest of them, and then I sailed away. And so here I am back in the saddle again. Oh, look at this. What's up, Sean? Cheers, man. Great seeing you. Thank you for popping in here. Look at this. We've got the Old Folks Senior Living Center representative himself all the way over in North Carolina. Cheers, sir. Always great to have you here. Thank you very much. And soon as Marty gets back in town, we will start the text train again and figure out another day to do this. But I may throw a little something in there. I'm still thinking here because I'm not sure what you did to us in this flight. But I will say this, nothing that you dropped off, it arrived here perfectly. But I can tell you, there's some Pete in that bunch. This knows. I don't know which one, but man, I knew it was in there. When I peeled all that stuff off of there. You know, if you just stopped the car and brought it up to the door, you wouldn't have had to fling it out the window. You wouldn't have to wrap it and all that stuff. But that's okay. It's always great to have you. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's for darn sure. Look at this. Just who I'm talking about right here. Mr. Greatshot going to be my co-host tonight. I know he's getting ready, looking for a hat. I'm sure he is. But always great to have him on here. That is for darn sure. I know there he is. I know I saw Brian. What's up, Brian? Cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in here. And again, thanks everybody. Really, I mean it. Thanks for popping in here, smashing that like button, telling everybody you saw me, saying hello, checking in. Always great to see you. You know what? I wish, but now my uncle has a 59 MG. He gets mad because I always call it the wrong thing. But I drove that thing down there in Nashville. Matter of fact, if I'd have known Eric back then, I'd have blowed the horn and drove by him because my aunt and uncle live in Brentwood. So, yeah, I drove it to the mall and went to the movies with my wife. This was back in 1998. Yeah, he said, take it around the block. So I took it to the mall. We went to the movies and back over. But I wish it did. But I do have a 71 Carmen Ghia in the garage. So it fits, Peter. It absolutely does fit. Oh, Port Charlotte, 7-year Isla Barley. We're going to get to something like that, Sean. So I appreciate you warming up with that. And Mr. Rance, look at this. Cheers, man. Loved your stream with Stacy. Was watching and lurking and listening. And it's always a good stream with Stacy. Whether she has somebody on or not, it's always a good stream with her, really. And speak of her, there she is. I just looked down a couple more. Cheers, Stacy. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody or any questions. Here we go. Need a Series E2 E-type. All right, here we go. All right, but you're right. You're absolutely right. So I'm not going to wait. I got to bring the guy on here because he's all dressed up with no place to go. What's up, Mark?
Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Anthony.
Oh, great to see you, man. Thank you for taking direction when I called the audible. You are ready.
No problem. Although I'm low on Bruichladdich. I finished off my what was it, the Classic Laddie. Finished that one off recently. And I had a different one of these Isla Barley. 2013. I finished that one off. I got the 2011 left now.
Well, you have 11 in your hand. You finished 13. I got 12 sitting here. Like I said, we will get into this stuff here in a minute. But what number is that?
This is 1401 and
14-1
and a 15-3.
You have a 15-3. That's 307 point what parts per million?
Oh, let's see, 307.2.
And
Does not rank like that. I mean,
let me just say this. That is the second, if I'm not mistaken, the second highest peated whiskey they have ever done. The first, I think, was either 8.1 or 8.2 at like 310. And I don't remember the number. It was not far off.
See, this one.
That's it. And to give everybody an understanding,
28.
Ardbeg 10 is 50 parts per million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem, though,
Lafroig is 35.
Okay.
I know. It's like, what? But
I believe.
Let me just say this. Since you held that up, I had the 15-2 last week.
Okay.
Hit nowhere near at 100 ppm, let me tell you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. But it just goes to show you, it's where they get the peat. It's that region, it's that area that really give it this influence. And if I tell people that, when you pull out an Ardbeg 10, that's a higher peat level than Lafroig, people look at you like you got a third eye, like you're crazy. No, I'm not. I could be off on the numbers, but I know Ardbeg has way more peat compared to Lafroig.
Let's see. There's a 10. I don't know if it says on there anywhere.
And believe it or not, Port Charlotte 10, I think is somewhere in the realm of,
it doesn't say,
25 to 30. And again, don't quote me, and it says heavily peated. And I think it's all along the line of an Ardbeg and not jumping the ship, but the Kilkerran heavy peated. Now we just had that in the last flight from Greg. You didn't catch the peat right off the bat. Neither did Marty. I was the first one to say, I think there's peat on here, because it certainly did not come off peaty.
Nope.
It just didn't come off peaty. And I'm like, holy smokes. And it took a couple of nosings but I pulled it out and I said, I got that medicinal note. Hey, Z-Man. Cheers, brother. Great to see you. Great to see you, man. Thank you. 15.2 is the second most ppm peat.
Yep.
Maybe in that line. But as far as the highest peated level, 8.1 or 8.2 was first. That 15.2 is like 110, 120.
Yeah. The problem with that, the 15.3, or was it? No, 15. Yeah, 15.3. It's 307.2 peat level, but I think because of maybe where they made the cuts or something like that, it does not come across that peaty. I mean, it's more floral than it is peaty.
Like I said, we're going to talk about that because it's a very interesting topic. Peat is, in general, peat is an extremely interesting topic because you have people that love it and you have people that absolutely loathe it.
Yeah.
I mean, they will say, oh no, oh no, oh no. Then there are some that are still on the fence, that they can tolerate, a little peat. And I'm like
like a Highland Park or something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just like a Highland Park. I was going to toss a coin there, but yeah, we'll go Highland Park. But I mean, it's so subjective. It's such a subjective topic.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. Oh, any of it. Just take your pick. The smokier, the better too.
Yeah, probably
okay, 40. I wasn't sure if it was 40, but like I said, Ardbeg 10 is 50, and everything else is under that. I had a note.
Now they measure what the ppm is in the mash.
It's phenolic parts per million or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But what do they measure? When do they measure it? I guess. Because I think it's in the mash or something when they measure that, or I'm not sure when.
8.3 was 309. 15.3 is 307.29. Something like that.
0.2, 307.2.
Okay. So that the 30 or the 15.3, I said I lost my notes from the thing because I was like, can't be, because I was drinking the 15.2 last week. And I'm like, what do you mean heavily peated? The Port Charlotte 10 is a more robust peat than this.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I got that one. I'm like, oh, I found one. And it says super heavily peated and it's 300. I'm like, oh, good. I got some peat's going to smack me upside the head and shoulders. And then I took a sample. I'm like, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, man, I'm let down. Granted, it's still good.
It doesn't. But yeah, it certainly doesn't hit at that level.
No. I think, just my assumption, but I'm thinking that they didn't dip low enough into the tails when they did their distilling cuts, because I think the tails would carry across a lot more of that peat smoke, nose and flavor if they dipped more into the tails. So I think they stayed more into the heart cut and maybe a little bit up into the heads. But I'm not for sure. I mean, I've never distilled anything with peat in it, so I don't know.
So my understanding, kind of going off where I was going, but that's okay. It doesn't make a difference. It's usually how everything goes. But when they're doing the Octomore, 15.1 is the first expression. They build on the 15.1 to get the 2, and then the 2 becomes the 3. Okay. Now the 2, I will say 15.2. I think it's a cognac.
Oh, it's cognac gross.
Okay. Yeah, if I remember right. And man, I'm going to tell you what, that is really, really was a good sip. That really was a good sip. Okay. And Sean, I agree with you, especially 7 or 8 different drinks of cask strength Scotch. A peated Scotch, if that's going to be your 8th, or let's just say 9th one, absolutely is perfect for stuff like that. I will agree with you. If I am having a stream where I'm doing some cask strength Scotch, sometimes even though I'm shut down, I'm not live, I will pour a little peated one to kind of, I'd say, wash that out. But
yeah,
boom, and that helps my palate. But you're right. Your palate is so blown. And that's why I try to watch different things that I do when I'm doing a cask strength whiskey tasting. I will start with the lowest and work my way up. But yeah, it will floor you. The Port Charlotte PC7 San Diego 2 was pre-Octomore. Okay. Was pre-Octomore. Wow. I have an Ardbeg Hypernova and it's 170, but it drinks way higher than that.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll find out if you send us that. How's that? We'll know if we really enjoy it.
Yeah. My first sample.
Oh, look at this show-off flexing right here. Just like them Canadians.
Yeah, they keep all the good stuff up there for themselves,
Exactly.
Jeez.
Against my odds. Cheers, man. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for popping in and joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you. 3 is completely different malt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was extremely different. Extremely different. But I'm going to say this. I really like the flavor in the classic Lottie. And I know Donald is right there with me on that. It has floral, it has honey or heather, it's got citrus notes in it. And I don't know why, it's faint to me, but orangey, citrus, tangerine. It's not prominent. It doesn't come out and punch you. But the second, the third sip, and maybe even to the fourth, you can get that. I don't know, what you ever got out of it, Mark, but I can every now and then, like, I didn't get it yet because I've only had maybe 3 sips out of this. I've been bullshitting, believe it or not. But I can get that out of there. And there's no color added to this in the classic Lottie. It's non-chill filtered. So it's the perfect expression, and it's locally grown barley. That's one of the things that Bruichladdich does, is they try to source the barley from the area on there. And that's pretty unique, because that flavor from that grain you're only going to get within so many mile radius of that. And that's one of the things that they look for. And talking to them last weekend, I got to ask that question about that. And sure enough, that was one of the topics that he had spoke of when he was there.
Okay.
About how dedicated they are, and also to the community and to the local farmers that are around Bruichladdich. So
that's awesome. I mean,
it is.
Keep it local, keep the money local as much as you can.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It reminds me of Frey Ranch. They're grain to glass.
Yeah. Well, still Austin's doing that. Corbin Cash, they're doing it. He's raising his own grain and stuff for a lot of his stuff. So, you don't get much more local and, grain to glass than raising it yourself.
Exactly.
Now, granted, I can see Bruichladdich can't do that. I mean, they're busy doing a lot of other stuff and distilling and everything else, moving cask around and, tasting. But, at least they can keep the money local and buy a lot of the local barley and the other grains that they use. Not sure what all.
Tell him, Peter. That's right. Say, boy, you wish you could.
Yeah. Right, Greg.
Oh, okay. Cheers. Thank you. The music guy.
He give Independent Joe some uncopyrighted music that he makes.
Yeah. I connected the dot. Now, once he said that, Independent Joe and the music, I went, where he got some of the stuff. Well, again, really, thank you for popping over. I really do appreciate that, and joining the talk and just hanging out with us.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
That's true.
That
is true.
I meant Greg, from the distillation run. You have heads come off first, then it's the heart cut, and then toward the end of the run, when the proof starts going down, you start getting what they call tails or faints. And I think a lot of that peat smoke would be hiding in the tail cut. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm guessing.
You know what? If Sugar Kitty pops in here, I know he would say that. And I do think so also.
Yeah. I really like Coahoma.
Cheers,
I've got four different expressions on the shelf here right now, and they're all good.
Oh,
I mean, they're a young company, but they're doing fantastic work.
So I've tell this story over and over again, but Sugar Kitty dropped off Kilhoman to me, and he was trying to explain Kilhoman and how it is a clean peat. Okay. And Machir Bay.
Yep.
And, you know, it's hard to understand that analogy until you have that, because it's definitely not an Ardbeg, a Lafroig, a Lagavulin. Yeah, it's nowhere like that. It's not an Oban. You know what I'm saying? Those are all distinctively different when it comes to that. Distinctively different. And so once he did that for me, I'm like, oh, I got it.
Hey, Ben. Cheers, brother.
But, hey, Ben. Cheers, brother. Appreciate you. Then you really start to look into this world of peat and really understand how distinctive this decayed matter is.
Yeah.
To where these distilleries are harvesting it from.
Yeah. Where they're actually getting it is completely different. I mean, it could be, 15 miles, 20 miles away, but the peat smell, taste, everything else is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. I'm glad that not all the peat tastes like Lafroig peat, with that weird kind of iodine-y, band-aidy type note to it.
Yep. Yep.
But then again, a lot of their different expressions, like the Cardis, it doesn't have that band-aidy note to it to me. It tastes completely different. And I'm guessing they're using the same peat that they would use for the regular, 10 expression or, select or lore or something like that. They may be changing them up. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Against my odds. Yes, sir. He's a great guy. And thank you. Honestly, you're always welcome here, just like you are on his stream. Come on, chat with us, spend some time. I open the pub up from time to time, and if you want to pop on and have a drink, pop on, brother. We are all good here. Oh, speak of the devil. Cheers, sir. I'm just scanning down. I'm flipping through there, and bingo. I'm just talking about it. Cheers, sir. Kilhoman does grow their own barley. Bingo.
That's good.
There we go. Well, you know what? A lot of these places are, or they're contracting with the farmers. Octomore 1, 2, and 4 10-year used a peat classic Lottie malt. Okay. Gotcha. Little, yes. Understood. Oh, yeah. 32-year-old.
That's going to be a well-rounded off pour there. I mean, there's going to be no sharp edges left on that pour for sure. That probably doesn't have much peat left in it. After 32 years of sitting in a keg.
Oh. Hey, Andrew. Cheers, Andrew. Brother. Recognize the glass. Andrew was with me at this event for Bruichladdich.
Nice.
I am not ashamed to admit it. He was my +1.
No worries.
He just happened to send me a text that day, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing? Want to meet me and have some free booze?"
Twist my arm.
Exactly. We had a good time. It was a great event. They had that charcuterie, whatever they call that damn stuff. Yeah. They, right in front of you, and to cleanse your palate a little bit from drink to drink. And they had the gin called the Botanist there.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The one that was finished, and it's as dark as Highland Park, but
really?
It's gin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I posted it on Discord. Oh, my gosh, was that good. In a Fever Tree Italian or Sicilian lemonade, I think it was Fever Tree Sicilian lemonade. They mixed it. Oh, my gosh, was that freaking delicious.
Yep. The only aged gin I got was from the local Crowded Barrel whiskey tribe.
Yeah.
It's the only aged gin that I've tried, and it's really good. I mean, it's good as just like a neat sipper.
I hate I-80 up there. I know where you are. Up there in the top of Pennsylvania. Well, you're up at the top of Pennsylvania. Did you go through the Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania yet? But oh yeah, can't stand it.
Here was what? Yeah. See, here's the Crowded Barrel gin.
Hold on. Let me highlight that because I like that bottle. That's interesting. Come on, highlight. There we go. Sorry, Donald. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, dang, camera's not picking it up.
That's all right.
But it's called You're Welcome, and it's that dark.
Yes, that's how the botanist is.
Yeah,
that's how the botanist is.
It's good. I mean, it's an easy on it, neat. It's good.
Really is good. Hey, Northwest.
It doesn't have the Mark.
Cheers.
It doesn't have the overwhelming like juniper notes and stuff to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It has a hint, some of it, but it's not in your face juniper and some of that normal gin notes.
Mm-hmm. It really was good. And I haven't had a glass of gin with anything since I'm gonna say 2005.
I can't see you.
You can't. Well, that's because I got to take you off highlight because I'm looking at the chat. Ta-da. Yeah, it is really, 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 really good. That might be my new summertime drink behind wild turkey honey and fresh brewed tea.
Yeah. Is it available here in the U.S. now?
Yes.
Oh, heck, all right.
Yes, it is. It is sublime. And just thinking about it, was like, here. Oh, that gin was good. Aged in a barrel. That's right. It was really, really good. Without a doubt. It was really good.
Yeah, gin is one of my summer pours. I like, especially by the pool, a nice gin and tonic is just quite tasty, for a nice.
So Bombay
down here
gin,
in Texas, hot,
Yeah, Bombay gin, the Sapphire on the rocks, 3 olives. Just from across the room, hold up the bottle of vermouth and just shake it and quickly put it back down. That's as close as this should come to my gin, and maybe a splash of olive juice in there, just a little splash.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I do have a martini, I like mine filthy. So, you can put a couple of teaspoons of olive juice and about 3 olives in my martini.
And let that sit until you're ready to get the next one. Then you eat the olives and then pour it into the, oh, yes.
Heck yeah.
Oh, my God. We're going to have to do just a gin stream. Get the botanist.
I have another gin behind me. What was it? It's like German. Where is it? Yeah, it's back here. Was it 13 Monkeys or something? Monkey 47. Have you tried that one?
No, I haven't had that one.
That one's a good.
Okay.
It's a good gin. It's what does it say? Schwarzwald dry gin.
Hey, the Pecker House. Cheers, man. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for popping in here. Always great to see you back again. Thank you for coming in, saying hello, and smashing the like button. Oh, yeah, gin for sure is a summer pour, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And now that I went to that botanist and that Fever Tree Sicilian lemonade mix, it is so good. I mean, so good.
Pecker House. Yeah. Pecker House built. But still, Austin gin is quite good. It's not overloaded with juniper either, although we have gobs of it around here. I mean, they could use locally sourced juniper berries easily. And they
you do it, Mr. Mom. You do it.
There you go, Orlando. Oh, there you go. I don't think I have the Whitney, but there's another blood orange that we have down here. It's an Italian one or something. And that may be it too. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh. All this gin talk now has got me going. I haven't had that, but yeah, I'm interested. That's for darn sure.
Ooh, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a water.
Go ahead. Starlight Blackberry and Lemonade is my summer go-to. I did a stream on this as my summer go-to, but it was the Wild Turkey Honey. Brew yourself some fresh tea. Put 2 fingers of the Wild Turkey Honey in your glass or whatever you like, however little or as much as you want. Pour that tea in there. Give it a stir. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can tear that crap up. It is so good. I don't like the Jack Daniels one or the other ones. They're artificial. The Wild Turkey American Honey in that whiskey. And I don't like flavored whiskey. So I don't drink it neat or anything like that. But in an iced tea, my goodness. Wow. Goodness, that's so good. Got my first Green River foolproof. I'm digging in ASMR. It has a lot going. It does. And for the money, James, it is a pretty darn good whiskey.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, I definitely trust her palate.
Yeah. Look at this nerd here. Oh, look at that. Tea would have to be Long Branch. Dude, you better quit sucking on that freaking prune juice at the home. What's up, nerd? Cheers, brother. Always glad to see you. Hope is well. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, you're away this week, right? So no stream. If I remember right, what you were saying, Trev, no stream for you. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I'm almost positive you told us. But good to see you, man. Thank you.
There you go. Donald, I'll do that. I got to find some of the Arcatotian 3 wood. I think, what is what I have left? Oh, that's out of Birkin. I got to change. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I pretty much brew all Earl Grey tea, Donald, and that's what I use in that Wild Turkey Honey. I mean, if I just have normal crappy ass tea, I really don't care. I just put a couple more tea bags or whatever I'm using. I try to get the loose leaf, but to give it that pump. But oh my gosh, it's wonderful. Here we go. This weekend, as in the end of this week, is your 1 year anniversary. I'll be gone Friday and all dang weekend. Okay, that's what I thought. So I knew it was something going on. I did forget it was your anniversary, but 1 year anniversary for Trev coming up. So happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Wrench. Raise a glass to both of them.
Oh, let me pour some.
Great supporter of Whiskey Tube he is. I mean, I remember watching him years and years ago when I wasn't even thinking about having a channel. And he was just the wrench.
Cheers, you nerd.
That's right. Cheers, brother. Thanks for popping in. I really do mean that. And I do wish you a good time. Let me finish this Bruichladdich classic and move on to the next one.
There you go.
Oh, man. But I really do like the classic Lottie. I think it hits all the spots. It's always a consistently good pour. And I think it's, let's say $65.
Right about that. And readily available pretty much anywhere you go.
But I was buying it $55 just 2 years ago, give or take $55. But I'll still pay $65 for a bottle of classic Lottie all day long. all day long. I mean, it's good stuff.
Currently, Trev, I poured some of this. The Edredor.
Oh,
Caledonia.
So
12-year-old.
I'm finishing up
Dark.
the classic Lottie, Trev, and I'm getting ready to move on to the Isla Barley 2012.
Which is what I started with.
It's a distinct difference between classic and the Isla Barley.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, the Isla Barley is
a lot. Oh my goodness.
A lighter, easier going version. Trev's coming back to Long Beach.
I was going to say, nobody goes back to that shit in Long Branch. Not even McConaughey. You don't hear him utter that shit in words anymore. He got his check and is gone.
Yeah.
Hey,
cheers,
Rob.
Cheers, brother.
Man, good to see you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And yes, if anybody here does not know of the Bourbon Wrench, there's his link. You got to go over, pop him a sub, and on Fridays, you got to join the rest of us nerds. There are no doubt about it. Whiskey Monster Proof hot toffee. Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Show me where the 1790 new 12 year is. There you go. And a good hot pastrami sandwich. Oh, look at this. Mr. Emenecker himself. Cheers. Appreciate you, Mark. Thanks for popping in here. Really. Oh, I'm going to have to leave the stream. The phones had to do some right quick, but if you're done before I get back, have a great rest of your night. All right, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you very much again. Appreciate you. You're always welcome. The 2012 Isla Barley is lovely, but if you can find the, yeah, I would love to find the, I think you told me about the 07. It's a religious experience. I am sure it is.
No, there you go. There's a lot of good tea out there.
So I usually, when I get home from work, Sean, I found a jasmine green tea, and not artificial like jasmine. I'm talking about the flowers and so on and so forth. You got to look, because a lot of the stuff you buy, it's flavored jasmine. But I found the real green tea with real jasmine, and I usually have that in the afternoon when I get home from work, 1:30, 2 o'clock.
There you go.
On there, and I use the leaves. So about a teaspoon, give or take, about 3 to 5 minutes, depending upon what you like as far as strength goes. I find 3 to 5 minutes is perfect.
There you go.
For that. Perfect.
And one I like is Twinings. I think it's by Earl Grey. The whole leaf, and it's in a like a yellowish looking tin. It's really good, along with some of the other Chinese teas, like oolong. I like that.
Oh, yeah. That oolong is wonderful.
The Green River Range.
Oh, that's foolproof. Absolutely. That's what I thought you were talking about to begin with. Hey, Bourbon Baller.
Yeah, that foolproof is good.
Appreciate you.
I'm kind of partial to their weeder.
Saying hello.
I'm kind of partial to the Green River weeder, and I've seen they've got a foolproof weeder out now, but I haven't seen it around me yet. But more than likely, I'll be picking that one up. And it's made very close to where I was raised at, just about 40 minutes north.
I think that for what you're getting from that Green River, that is some decent whiskey for the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's very well priced within the market.
Yep.
And very affordable.
Sure enough.
It's one of those 50. I'm using $50 as the mark. It's one of those $50 whiskeys, and you can't beat it. Let me highlight that real quick.
Got the horseshoe shaped bottle.
Yeah.
This is the weeder.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with these things.
No,
you just can't go wrong with them.
$50.
Yeah.
I think the full proof's about 55, I want to say, something like that.
That's why I said it's the $50 price range anymore. And if you can find a good damn whiskey, and it is good whiskey, at that price, buy two.
Yep. Buy one and just get a backup.
Yeah. Just do it. Because Lord knows we've spent double that on one bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm putting that mildly. But that Green River I was pleasantly surprised when I had my first dram of that. To enough that I went, what was that? What's the name of that thing again? Let me just get a little more in my glass. Just a little more, because I'm serious. I heard of it, but I never seen it here in Vegas. But then all of a sudden, it showed up one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. That's for sure. Really do. Hey, Josh, I could have swore I saw you, so I'm going down there. I was just scrolling.
Cheers,
scrolled up. Cheers, Josh. Appreciate you. Oh, I did have something, and I was like, okay. So now I'm going to move on to
Isla Barley.
All right. And mine is the 2012, which I had already taken the liberty and poured it in my other Bruichladdich glass that I got from the tasting that Andrew and I were at. And oh my gosh. Now it's funny, on the nose
pack one
of this, on the Isla Barley, it is distinctly different than the classic Lottie.
Yes.
It really is.
Lighter, more fruity.
It's like a peach-esque note, a sweet citrus, a sweet fruit on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely lighter.
I get the malt. Absolutely.
What's the proof on that one? What's fine.
What's that?
What's the proof on the 12? The 11 I have is 50%.
Hold on.
100 proofer.
I should know that, but it's 50% too. So I think it's 50, but I didn't want to speak until I looked. It's 50.
They're basically making
on the classic.
Yeah, so they're making all those Isla Barleys are always making those at 50% then. So that's good to know. Well, then again, the classic Lattie's at 50 too.
And
or 50% as well, I should say.
And you got to know that this too is 100% Isla grown barley.
Yep.
Now I'm pulling out a little bit more of that malty vanilla type cake note that I get on a Scotch. More like I call it a sweet bread is what I go back to on there. I get that.
Reminds me of like shortbread cookies.
Exactly.
Like shortbread cookies with like a little bit of like maybe some marmalade on it or something, Get a little of that sweet kind of fruity note to it. Yeah.
That's why I said there's some type of sweet fruit note. So nectarine, plum, it's citrusy on the nose. But
maybe like an apricot jam.
So so this is what they call high provenance Isla barley. So don't ask me to pronounce it all, but I think it's Kokul, Rockside Island, Mollendry, God, I can't read it all because one, it's tons of glare. But I can't pronounce that stuff. I don't speak that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it looks like Cruich Farms, maybe.
It could be Cruach.
Yeah, Cruach, Cruich, maybe.
Oh yeah.
High provenance.
That's what's in here, Donald. When I saw you say that, I'm like, where did I see that? I saw it on the side of here. So, but oh my gosh.
Rock slide.
Yeah, this is okay. But it's so different. It's so different than the classic. And but each batch is totally different. So because of the grain, it just isn't repeated.
Well, the ones that was in your 12 was in my 11.
But that's a batch for that year.
Yeah, and aged in different casks too.
Correct. It's all totally different. But they're still stellar in themselves. You know, and at first on the nose, and I know it isn't, but I get that very, very faint, but is that a medicinal note?
Yeah.
I know it's not, but because I've had enough of it, because I've never gotten anything on the palate or the retrohale. But on the nose, I just for a fleeting moment pick up that medicinal. Like now it's more of the sweet citrus.
This editor I'm getting.
No, I don't. I wish.
No, I don't have any bear barley.
But this is truly great on the nose. So let me get a little bit here on the palate. It's lighter than the classic. It's lighter on the palate.
Yep, I can agree.
It's sweet. It's definitely sugary, citrus, but it's sweet citrus, sweet on that palate.
Agreed, Donald.
Wow, I'm trying to.
Agreed. I've been looking. If I see one, I'll definitely be picking it up.
It's when I give it a little swirl test here, it does cling to the sides, but it's thinner than the classic. That's just me. I don't know what you all feel or anything like that who have had this, but it is thinner. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's just the difference to me on the palate. And it finishes clean, and it's definitely not a long finish. What is still there, and I'm getting, is citrus.
Oddly, that's what I'm getting out of this Edredor is like chocolate covered tangerine or something. Well, just to put a drop of water in this last little bit, and it brought it even more to the surface. Interesting.
I would tell you, Donald, I would pour some from each one into a glass, just enough to give you that taste to go, oh, this is wonderful. But truthfully, I really do like the Isla Barleys. Yeah. I like them. And they are, like I said, they're unique in their own right every time they come out.
Yep.
You'll pick out some similarities, but they're different.
Yeah, and I haven't had a bad one.
No, absolutely not. No bad one. No bad one at all. No bad one at all.
No. Like I said, the only two that I've had was the 2011 and the 2013. And both of them are really good and fairly close to each other as far as taste, complexity and whatnot. They were really close to each other. But
yeah,
both of them just outstanding whiskeys. Easy sipping, and not for people that don't like peat. They're not peated at all that I can pick up on.
No, but I don't know why I get that type of a medicinal note on the nose. There's nothing I'm getting on the palate, nothing on the retrohale. And if anything, I think it's got a little oakiness from the barrel, that type of a spice, if anything. But in general, no, I recommend these whiskeys to people all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly people that are saying, what's a good entry scotch? I have no problem recommending this. I have no problem. I just finished up the Glengoyne 12. These were the 20 CLs my sister and brother-in-law got me when they were in Ireland. I just finished that. And oh my gosh, that 12-year Glengoyne is just amazing. And I can pick up another bottle here for $55.
Okay.
So, and it was just getting to the point where this was getting to that sweet spot where it's time, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got rid of that thing, and oh my goodness.
One of my better introductory scotches for people that have not tried scotch, and I want them to try it because I think they might like it, especially different women, is the Glenlivet, the Caribbean cask. It's
okay,
nice, light, fruity. I mean, like really fruity. You get a lot of tropical mango type fruits out of it, stuff, and it's really tasty. It's a low proofer, like an 80 proofer or something like that. So they're not gonna like smack them upside the face with it. There's no peat, so they don't have to worry about that. That's the thing people think about scotch most of the time is all scotch is peaty. It's not. Most scotch is not peated.
Another good one, and I mean this, and I'm probably kicking myself for saying it, and I'm going to reach for it. No, not that one. Sorry. The Tale of Tokyo is good, but I just saw the color, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's this one. Well,
the Tale of Cake?
Close. Ice cream.
Ice cream, okay.
the Glenmorangie.
Yeah, that would be a good introductory one.
Oh, my.
Glenmorangie.
The second bottle is already here. Yeah,
good.
I've got that, and I told them when they get the next shipment, just put one aside for me. So this is the first. It's almost gone. The second one's ready. There'll be a third. So the original, the backup, and the backup.
There you go.
I'm telling you. This is ice cream in a glass.
Dang.
Dr. Bill knocked this damn thing out of the park.
Excellent.
It's a diabetic dream. Okay. It's a diabetic's dream to have this. Believe me, I'm pre-diabetic. But it is freaking awesome whiskey. I'm just telling you, it's 46 ABV too.
Yeah. That's not bad.
It is not bad. That's delicious.
That's one of the things that I'm finding about Scotch, compared to say bourbons and ryes, is your lower proof Scotches are still quite tasty and can stand a touch of water to them compared to like a lower proof bourbon or a rye. They're most of your bourbons and your ryes, you need to get them like 100 to 110 ish proof, somewhere in that range, for them to be quite tasty and withstand a little bit of water.
I'm a proofy bitch. I've said it. I wear the T-shirt. I got that straight from Whiskey Encore. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can get them anymore. But I got it. It says proofy bitch right across the front of it. 100 north. And I agree with you. That 100, that 105, that 110 in a bourbon, that really brings out, yes.
Yeah, that's really the sweet spot for those.
Absolutely.
And you can get that with some of the scotches too. I mean, I've got scotches that are, well over 100 proof, and they can definitely stand some water, and it completely changes them. Sometimes for the better, most of the time for the better, but sometimes not as much. Sometimes it's better just to leave it alone because they knew what they were doing. But
no, and I agree. I agree with you. Water, depending upon the strength of the whiskey, can add more to it or bring more out of it for you, however you want to look at it. Half empty, half full, however you want to look at the glass, it's up to you. But I used to be against adding water to whiskey. I thought it was sacrilege. But no. And when I say a drop, I drop.
Few drops.
And I count them. Makes a difference. And I've said that tons and tons of times.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference with the Scotch and Irish too, and compared to American stuff, is a lot of your Scotches and Irish are pot distilled. So you get a lot more of those fusel oils and things like that into the whiskey. And that, when you drop a little bit of water in that, it brings all those oils and stuff to the top. And then you know, oh, okay, well, that's what that is. And, it jogs your memory a lot better.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does that for you. It absolutely does that for you. And when I do different tastings, I will mention that. And I give them the story about how I was against it. But my understanding of whiskey changed as I developed and as I got into whiskey.
And different whiskeys.
And exactly. And it does bring out different things or subdue some of the stuff that you may go, it's a little sharp. And I use that term as just a random term. It's a little sharp. And sometimes it just takes that little bit of the edge off on a whiskey. And you go, oh, now this is nice. And one of them that it's kind of weird, but it was a 1792 small batch, just a standard 1792.
Gotcha.
But when I say like 2 drops of water, 3 drops of water tops into a Glen with 2 fingers. Okay.
So like a good ounce and a half pour or so.
Yes. A good pour, ounce and a half, 2 ounce. Holy smolians. That was an experience. So it was a couple of years ago, but at the holidays, but my dad and I pretty much finished a bottle in about 4 days, 5 days. But it was just, I'm telling you, that was one of the turning points for me a couple of years ago where I go, holy crap. And that's not a high proofer. I think that's a C note on the proof. I think they're 100 proof. I don't think I have any more small batch left. I've got everything else. I've got 12-year bottle to bond. I've got a weeder. I've got picks, foolproof, but I don't think I've got the small batch. But anyway, are you going to end the stream off with the Jim Mc? Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're going to come down here and give me some, you're right. That's what we were saying, Peter. Small percentage of the Scotch is peated. Time to pour the Port Charlotte. Oh, yes. Yes. You know what's good with that? Ribeye.
Yep.
Smothered in onions, mushrooms with a big gob of butter just oozing down over that. God, that's so good. Oh my gosh. Hey, I'm a fan of MGP. I admit I'm a fan of MGP. Of course, I like Smoke Wagon. Oh, Smoke Wagon just happens to be a few miles away from me. Well,
they are kind of local.
They are kind of local here in Vegas. You're right. But I've been a MGP fan for some time, and then of course a Smoke Wagon fan for years. I pretty much like just about everything that they have put out. I've never found one that I go, oh, this is shit. That's for sure. Haven't. I have not found anything like that at all from Smoke Wagon. I've found some that it's good. I absolutely drink them. But there are, of course, others that I go, oh my gosh, they're exceptional. But I personally haven't went through a small batch or an uncut, unfiltered in about 3 years. I've emptied bottles.
Yeah.
But I haven't opened another one. I do have a straight bourbon open, and it was either a 4th of July release or a Christmas release, but they're the one and the same. The only thing that's changed is what the design is on the bottle.
Yeah.
So the juice didn't change. It just commemorates that particular event. So anyway.
That's actually what my ashtray is.
I have a Blender Select Rye open from them, and I honestly think that's it.
That's actually what my ashtray is.
Yeah.
Uncut, unfiltered bottle.
There you go. That's perfect ashtray too.
Works good.
It does. I like it.
I got another bottle up there open of the uncut, unfiltered. That's one of the ones I like. But I like the younger batches more so than I do the later batches. For some reason, I don't know why.
I think the bottle I have that's uncut, unfiltered is batch 35.
Dang, there you go.
Yeah, batch 35.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I haven't opened it. And it still has the handwritten label.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah, for them.
Yep. I don't know what batch this one here is. It's open. 159A. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a definitely later batch. Yeah. But, yeah, that's definitely a later batch. But mine is in the 30s, 35, 37.
Yeah,
now that
those were good. Up till around like mid 60s, 70s, right in those batches. Those were all good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what that batch was. What's this? I got one down here, I think. Yeah. Here you go. There's one that's 103, batch 103 of the uncut.
You know what, James? I don't know. That's a damn good question. So this is the first part of his question, Mark.
You guys got a crowdfunding set up to still whiskey on the other mash and the casking. No, I don't know enough of the distillery.
Let me say this: if
I could make something close to a Kilhoman here in the U.S., that's what I would lean toward, like a peated Kilhoman.
See,
I would lean that way. Single malt here in the U.S., but peated.
I was going for a Wilderness Trail.
Okay.
Because they have some very interesting mash bills and different strains of yeast. And I have
my cigar.
I have a bottle up there that's a pick, and I was just like, ooh, that might make me go, But I don't know, James. But for me, a distiller of choice, they have some great strains of yeast for fermentation process at Wilderness Trail. And it's funny you should mention that, but that was a whiskey that that I really got to grow up around, and it was the first whiskey that I really experienced what time does to whiskey in a bottle. So when you open it and you drink it down to the shoulder and you leave it set, and the air's in there and it starts to mix and get a little oxidation, and people say, yes, now it's opening up, and you really get the flavors and the nuances out of the whiskey. Well, I had opened this bottle and I went through it and I got it down to just about that much from the bottom. And for some reason, it just got back on the shelf, and the shelf wasn't where it is now at that time. And I just didn't go to it anymore. It's like that couple of streams I did, Forgotten But Not Gone.
Yeah.
And I started going back to literally the back of the shelf, pulling out bottles that I haven't touched in a couple of years and go, why haven't I touched this? I don't know. But it's just to the back. And then, of course, I go down to the floor and go, well, I'm pretty good. I think I only have 6 bottles on the floor from like 3 or 4 dozen here this morning. I've taken care of that. But anyway, that was the whiskey that made me understand what time does. And that's the first whiskey that I really got to experience the flavor change, because bam, this cherry note. When I opened that and poured it into a glass, it stopped me in my tracks. I went, what the heck did I just drink here? And I think it was on Scotch Down Under. I forget whose stream or what I was on, but for some reason Ken pops into my head. But
possibly.
I was like, I mean, almost to the point where I was dumbfounded. I'm like, what did I just drink? And so I took another sip of it. And so I said, I've got to say this. And I said what I said. And then I looked at that bottle, and you can see the barrel char, just wafts of it floating in there. And I never experienced that before. And I have a few bottles there that I've drunk out, and you can see the barrel char in there, just at the bottom, like a mist, like a fog, just lightly and rolling. When you shake it, it just rolls like the ocean. And that was the epiphany I had in the first time years ago about time, air, and what it does to whiskey. So Wilderness Trail has a spot for me as a point of great admiration for what they do. And some people like it and some people don't care for it, and that's fine. But me, wow, I am a big fan of that whiskey. That's for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, JD, cheers, brother.
Cheers,
Little
JD.
Bruichladdich in the glass tonight. Isla Barley 2012 right here. So cheers, sir. Great to see you. Mark and I are doing our best to hold up YouTube here tonight. There will be no live wire, everybody. So no live wire tonight. You'll have to put up with Mark and I for just a little bit longer. But
I stepped past you on your Bruichladdich, the Isla Barley, and went straight to the Octomore.
I saw that. I'm going to be, I've got another one to go to yet. So let me have another sip or two on here.
It just goes really good with a cigar.
I wish I could here, but
I've got my exhaust fan working now in the bar here, so all the smoke, it just right out, and so the whole bar is the bar is clear. There's no smoke in the bar at all, or the rest of the area of the bar. I'm at the bar.
Yeah. You
all this
one time panned the camera around and showed me, like, this is why.
Yeah,
goes up and out. Well, hey, you got to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I'm going to be hanging out here, and I have other people come over too to hang out. A few people smoke, and some people will smoke cigars. So, but I don't want the whole bar to get hazy or something when somebody comes in the door and they're like, "Oh, part the smoke so they can see who's at the bar." I don't want that.
If they don't know who's at your bar, then they don't belong at your bar.
True that.
There you go. If you don't know who's at my bar, be gone with yourself.
Yeah.
But
you got to get through the gate to even get to the bar. So
there you go. JD, that's why they made a flask. That's all I'm going to say.
There you
That's
go.
all I'm going to say. That's why they made a flask.
And those 2 ounce and 1 ounce sample bottles fit well in your pocket.
Oh, you see that little thing over there, do you? Do you? You don't have any of this, Sean, at all?
That's good. I've had a sample of that.
So this is going to be a fresh crack, because I picked this up at the event last weekend. And I told my wife, I says, hey, if I can pick that thing up for under $150, because they have special deals.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it. Shoot, when I saw that price, my arm reached out like a cobra striking.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was a little high around me. And I did get a sample from Marty sent me a sample of it. He got a bottle of that. And I think one other person has sent me a sample.
I couldn't pass it up at $1.45.
No, it's worth it. I mean, it really is. It's a fine whiskey. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
180? I've seen it for less than that. It's about 150 around me, I think.
It's normally hovers between 190 and 200 here. And
really?
like I said, yeah, at the event, I picked it up for 145. My arm reached right out and
here.
The guy says, I guess you want one of those? I said, I want this one. Yeah. This is the one that's under my arm. And so I had to pick it up. I had to pick it up. I could not.
Let's see.
Not do it.
We got the Classic Lady, the 18 here. Oh, yeah. The 18 here, my local Total Wine is $168.99. Okay.
So let me just tell you this, Donald. Pour the 21, save the Octomore. Just do what I say. Pour the 21, save the Octomore for just maybe your last one or second to the last one. Just trust me on that. Just trust me on that. I know exactly what you mean, but I could not pass that up at the price. I could not.
Oh,
well, you just repeat.
What you forgot to refill.
Repeat. JD, this is not your first rodeo. Come on. I know you too well, brother. I know you too well. This is not your first rodeo. Sean, you shouldn't have said that out loud, brother. I was just gonna say, what do you mean you haven't had any of this? Oh, okay.
If you like peated whiskeys and older versions of peated whiskeys, you'll like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. The Isla Barley 2012 is gone. I need a fresh Glen. And this one is going to have to, have to open up a minute. Well, no, it's not going to have to open up a minute, but it's going to have to open up a minute.
It's so good.
But I'm going to do it. This is the Bruichladdich 18 right here. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and open this. Now, this is a cover that's on here. People think, what the heck is this? So you peel it here. I almost hate to do it because I kind of like this cover.
You don't need to peel the cover off the board.
No, but it will go back on.
Yeah.
It will go back on. But I just thought it was neat is how it's done.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. This is nice. It's also 50 ABV.
Yeah.
On this 18, which usually when they start getting to 18 and 20, so on and so forth, the ABV will drop 46 or 43 generally. But this one, they're hardcore. They're still at 50 ABV, so 100 proof, to which I am perfectly fine with.
Yep.
Perfectly fine with. So that being said,
it allows you to drop a couple of drops of water, and if you so choose.
If you so choose, absolutely. It has enough. It has enough balls that you can put those couple of drops in there and see what it does.
I mean, you could put in like a cab full or so and proof it down to about 80 if you like to. But I think you probably lose some of the notes that you really want. I definitely try it at the their proof first, and then
absolutely. I tell everybody, no. Before you think of trying to proof that down, don't try it as it was blended and put together as the distiller intended.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
It's like this Octomore that I'm sipping now. It could definitely handle some water because it's at like a 120 proof. So
I was going to say, what are they, 57?
Yeah, this was 59.6.
I was close. I knew it was up there. And this has a damn glass stopper with one of those. I hope it isn't one of them tough ass. It's not a cork, and it's not synthetic. And so, shoot, that sucker opened up perfectly. But let me let you guys see this. It is a glass stopper with a synthetic ring. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Okay. It wasn't the fight I was expecting. I was expecting a fight on that, and it just popped right up.
The only one I have like that with a glass stopper is the Irish. It's a Limavady or something. Limavady. There you go. And that one you need two thumbs kind of pop.
Boy, I'm going to say, I have had 2 bottles of that Limavady. Went through it. It's good stuff for the money. And when I got mine, it was $35 a bottle.
Oh, dang. Definitely worth that.
I know, and I bought 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not $35 a bottle.
I get 45 for mine.
I was going to say they're $45.50. So, okay, that's what they are here. But nobody knew who Limavady was.
Yep.
And
it's good. It really is.
It is very good whiskey. And I'm trying to remember. I think I gave a bottle of that to Jonathan J. Sal's.
Okay.
When he was here in Vegas, I think I gave a bottle of that to him. I'm trying to remember. I know I gave him a bottle, but I can't remember what in the hell it was. But oh my gosh. For the money, even at $45, that is a great Irish whiskey. Great Irish whiskey. And I mean that. That is a great drop. So, oh man, sorry. I got the 18 in the glass. We're going to mix it up here, get it dizzy, get some air in there. Oh my goodness. This is caramel. This is vanilla. This is citrus. This.
Pretty sure that I don't have any more of that left.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to figure this out here for a second. Sorry. But I actually have something in the glass here, and it's like, oh my goodness. So I did mention that to the rep there. I go, look, Bruichladdich does have a problem with corks. I said, my Port Charlotte 10 is like a bad set of dentures inside there. Okay. I go, you really need to spread that word and let them know that, hey, there is a slight concern. I'm not going to say it's a big issue, but there is a concern with the corks that in time they shrink.
Yeah. And we don't mind if you put a synthetic cork in there. Seriously.
No. I'm not a purist like that. Hey, Paul. Cheers, man.
Hey,
Viking Bourbon. Great to see you. Thank you for popping in and saying hello.
Oh, yes. It's so nice.
This has a nice nose. There's a little floral. There's definitely heather on the nose. And it's funny. When you nose a glass, depending upon where you go and who you talk to, will tell you. Let's put it this way: the right way or wrong way. It depends on how you want to look at it. But I was always told that when you nose a glass of whiskey, you put your nose in there, you open your mouth, and you rotate from side to side. So as you are inhaling through your nose, you're also inhaling through your mouth.
Yep.
And you're to stick your schnoz in the glass. Now at the event at the event I was at, they say, "Oh, nay, nay." Let me put it this way. It's your glass. It's your whiskey. You stick your nose wherever the hell you want to stick your nose. Okay. So you see what I'm doing here.
Yep. I can tell you one thing that might change it a little bit. Instead of putting your nose in the glass, put your nose, the bottom of your nose above the top of the glass.
Well, they talked about holding it away.
Yeah.
So he says, you're only going to get the ethanol. And I said, if you make good whiskey, I don't worry about ethanol.
Well, yeah,
he looked at me a little bit. He said, well, then you're going to like our whiskey. I go, I do.
Yeah. Like this here, 120 proof. You don't want to stuff your nose down in the bottom of the glass, try to smell it, because you're going to burn your nose hair. So, with that 120 proof.
When I know that, I'll leave it set for a while, let that ethanol come out.
Yeah, kind of evaporate off a little bit.
HD whiskey says, I'll make it dizzy. Yeah, let me spin it a minute here. But
if you try to smell it on the top edge of the glass, put your nose above that, you'll catch the vapors coming up through and then going around the top instead of the lower vapors. You're catching the higher stuff coming off some too, and you'll catch different notes.
Oh yeah. I
like here. It's more fruity. Here's a little more on the top. It's a little more chocolatey kind of a note.
Ooh, I love chocolate in a whiskey.
Oh man, and then peat. Peat on the palate.
I'm gonna get there.
It goes really good with a cigar. I don't know why. In fact, it reminds me I need to pick up another bottle of Ugadal, Ardbeg Ugadal. I just polished that one off last week.
If you can find the Ano.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
I've seen a few other ones. I'm looking for a lower from Lafroig, because that was one of the ones that got me into peated stuff too.
So if you find that Ano, ANAO, buy it.
I don't think they're making that one anymore.
They're not. So what's out there, pick up.
Yep. I'm on the lookout for it if I see one. There you go. Ardbeg. And now Ugadal, well, the 10 is really good for a daily. Ardbeg 10. That's a good, daily sipper with some peat to it. I like it. But, Ugadal is like one of those that for me, it's a different kind of peat than most any other peat you're going to try. Because it's got that meaty kind of barbecue, brisket burn ends, unctuous, savory thing to it.
So if you find that NO, it's that and then some.
Really nice.
Yep. So,
all right, I'm on the hunt.
So
I'll find me a bottle.
Bear with me, people, here just a minute because we're talking about it. I got it. Hold on, because I was just looking at that sucker, going, I haven't had any of that in a minute. But so they don't come like this. I mean, you can find them. Now, this would be the hen's teeth. But this is the container. And hold on, I'm going to highlight myself.
Wow.
Let me get rid of
I do remember seeing that a while back.
Okay. Yeah. So the bottle's in there. You can almost see it through there. But in here was a little smoker that you would pop in your grill.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So See what it says? Barbecue smoker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is barbecue in a glass, just like you were saying. So you take the top off. It's a bit of a trick to get it out, but there's some accoutrements in here. They're not important, but they are in the grand scheme of everything. So you take the plastic out, set it down. Now, here comes the little smoker that they used to put in there.
Oh, wow.
So you put your wood chips in there.
I got you.
And put it in your grill.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was the same price as the one in the box.
Yeah.
Let me think about this a second. Okay.
I have seen that same bottle at one of my local, I think it was a Total Wine that had that one. No, it wasn't.
The bottle
it was,
is the bottle. Okay. The bottle is the bottle that's in here. It's the same one that's on the shelf or the same one that's in the box.
Yeah.
But this was how it originally came out, from my understanding. It came out like this.
It was a twin liquor. That's what it was.
So pull those little, and they're a little bit of a pain to get out. They're not hard. It's just that there's not enough for me to grab onto sometimes. So I cheat a bit. It wants to be obstinate now. Of course. Come on. There we go. You get that out. And then you pull the liquid gold out.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see this sitting on the shelf. Yeah.
Your normal green Ardbeg bottle.
Yep. But yeah, you want to get some of this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you find this, absolutely buy it.
Yeah.
In this, just for that, because you can buy a bottle and then just keep replacing it. Yeah, you can buy a bottle and then just keep replacing it with that. But this is very, very good whiskey. Very good whiskey. But I just liked the way it came in this tube.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why it's there. And then he said, you put it back together. It's like a damn puzzle. But I've done it enough that I can do it. It bothers me sometimes because it's a pain, but it's just nice the way it is to have it because, like I said, the bottle is the bottle. So you can buy the bottle. If you use that one, you can put it back in here.
Okay.
Put the lid back on it. Ta-da.
Yep.
But I just this tin. So
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anoa. A-N-O-A. A-N-O-A.
I got you. No, I think that's like Gaelic for another one or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So let me unhighlight myself. There we go.
Tito trick.
Oh yeah.
About that stuff. And we're gonna get me half the bottle of this. We'll get all 1/2. We'll get all and a half. I don't know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely give it a shot though.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, it says Ugadal on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see our big Bazaar barbecue now. No, I haven't tried that one. That's one of their committee release sort of things. They usually price those up pretty high, and there's not that many of them around.
Yeah, I have seen it.
I haven't even seen one. The Bizarro Q.
Yeah. We know it's the medication they give you at the home. doesn't mix well with the whiskey you hide underneath your bed.
All right.
But
be safe, Ben.
All right, man. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. So,
there you go.
The Peat Monster currently. Oh yeah, the Compass Box. Oh yeah, that's.
Yep.
I love.
You can't go wrong with Compass Box anything.
No.
Them people know what they're doing.
So this is the 18, and I had some last week, and I do believe Eric had sent me a sample of it before, so I already had a little taste. So the hook was set.
Yeah.
But all right, let me see here now. Wow. Now that's a nice whiskey. And especially, okay, $145 for the bottle. And like I said, they're normally $180 to $200. Yeah, I couldn't pass this up. But
heck no.
It has a little pepper on the finish. It's not overpowering again, just so people know. But it's citrusy, it's bright, it's sweet, but it just has a little bit of pepper coming back. And that could be, the oakiness of the barrel coming through on there. It's light. It's not as viscous as the classic. And I'm not going to say it's the same as the 2012 Isla Barley, but let me get a couple more sips in here since that's what I was drinking prior to this.
Well, but that Isla Barley is only like, 6-year-old or something like that? So we're in that range, 6 to 8, maybe. What's this one? It should say. Yeah, the 2011 is 6 years old. Aged in oak cast.
Now this definitely has that classic sweet citrus on the palate. It has in it. I don't quite know how to describe this yet, but it's good. And I'm trying to figure out where it is. Let me get another sip here. Okay. All right. I'm going to say that the texture is the same as the Isla Barley.
Okay.
The mouthfeel is warm. It's not as viscous as the classic, which I'm a little surprised. I figured it would have some oils to it on there. It's sweet. It's got a little spice. What is that? Hold on.
Best I can remember when I tried it, it was, you take, like, say, a square block of wood and take some sandpaper to it and you round off all the sharp edges. It's kind of like that, So some of the peat has dropped off because of the age of it. And any of the sharp edges, the stuff that's going to like smack you and be like in your face and, prickly on your tongue or something like that. None of that was there. It was just really nice, laid back, real smooth, buttery kind of.
I will give you the butteriness on there, but it's not your how do I say this? It's not like home whipped or home churned butter.
Yeah.
It's not thick.
No.
But it's not thin. I know it's a tough analogy there, but they give you. I've had a couple of tastes of it, and then the one I had last week just didn't do it justice. This is something where I can really sit back and have a couple of sips, and if I really want to, I can have a couple of more sips. But
yeah, it's nothing like the one I'm sipping on, that's for sure.
So let me say this. This is a very nice whiskey. A very nice whiskey. Definitely one that I would tell you at the $180 price range. I think it's fair at $10 a year. This is my thing.
Yeah.
At $10 a year, that's a fair price for it. And sometimes prices vary by $20. So to pay $20 over that, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, to pay more than that, no.
I wouldn't do it.
No. Now, this definitely is going to need a little time, as in sit in a bottle, but I do like this whiskey. And if I had the chance to buy it at the price I paid, there would be a second bottle, and I wouldn't even think twice. At $145 a bottle for an 18-year-old Bruichladdich that has everything I want in a whiskey, the ABV, the nose, the palate. I am not displeased with it. That would be a steal. A steal. In hindsight, but I bought something else instead while I was there.
Okay.
If I didn't buy that, 2 of these would have come home. There would have been a backup. At that price, absolutely run out and buy 2. That's for sure. But the nose is wonderful.
If you're a big Scotch guy.
Well, of course. Of course. Yeah, true. I mean, I understand that. But there are some things is a good price. And that was a good price.
Yeah, if you can get it for under say $1.30, $1.50, something like that, definitely, it's a good buy for that. When it gets up to 180, it's still not bad.
That's a fair price at $10 a year, 18 years, $180. That is a fair price.
Yep,
that is a fair price. But most I've seen is like 189. Like I said, 199, so $200. It's still okay.
Yeah.
The citrus, there is a definite citrus on the finish. Now that I'm into the 4th and 5th sip, I'm getting the citrus on the finish. The spice is a little more subdued because the initial palate shock is over from it. Let me get a little sip of water here.
Like I said, at my local Total Wine is like 170. So, plus
170 is a good price.
So, plus tax down here, it'd be about 180 basically out the door.
Yeah. So 180 retail, and this is my version, and then you pay your tax. That's the fair price. 170 is a good price. 150 or below, that's an excellent price. Buy it. That's a buy. It's a buy all day long at that price.
Agreed, Sean. Compass Box the Spaniard is good stuff. Another one I liked was the Orchard House, and What have I got behind me? I think I got a Flaming Heart. That's pretty damn good too.
I haven't tried the Spaniard, although other people have said I need to get a bottle of that. I do like Compass Box, so I'm fine with it. My favorite is that where is it? Oh, there it is. It's Orchard House. I love that thing. My gosh, it's apples in a glass. Apples in a glass.
Yeah, the Orchard House. It's really good. I like that one. And then, of course, the Balvenie. I really like those too. A lot of those different ones.
Oh, Balvenie, please. It broke my heart when my 15-year sherry cask is no longer imported into the state.
Oh, no.
I know. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I think I've got
stronger. What do you mean? It's like it's a quintessential Scotch to have on your bar. What do you mean you're not bringing it in here into the States anymore?
Jeez.
Trust me. I talked to the brand ambassador. I was pissed. I said, that thing is freaking phenomenal.
I think the only one I have right now is the 14-year Caribbean cask.
And then the Week of Pete or Pete Week.
Yeah.
They're not bringing them over.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I got to have my Canadian friends get it on the moose and bring it over here. Yeah. Because, Canadians don't use mules. They use moose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's because the smuggler pouch on the moose is so big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like this whiskey, and a little time in the bottle to get this to open up is going to do it well. So probably Friday next week, I'll do another a nice 2-finger pour to get that down a little bit more, and then leave it set.
Octomore scented water. Sorry.
Octomore scented water. Okay.
Yeah, that's nice. I was wondering if it would rinse it out much, and it really didn't much.
As I let this last sip of the 18 just kind of wash over my tongue, and
heck yeah,
the sweetness was really there. It's about the 6th sip. The sweetness was really there in that. The citrus was there. And I'm going to say orangey, tangerine.
Gotcha.
Now, because that's what I wasn't sure. I thought it was kind of an odd thing, but I'm going to say orangey or tangerine. But that 18-year is a nice whiskey to have. But share it with somebody. Get it to the shoulder, even below, if you each have 2 glasses, and then give it 10 days to sit at least.
Get a little oxidation going in there.
Yeah. Let it open up, and that's going to be a really nice whiskey. So something I haven't had in a minute because I've been drinking everything else, but I'm going to get to the next one, and I'm going to pour a little Port Charlotte 10, heavily peated.
There you go. And
then remember what I told you, Donald, just sip on that 21 before that Octomore. But this is the one that I said that's come on, people.
Oh,
really?
Surely you've got a drawer full of corks laying around somewhere.
Funny is, this is not a real cork. It's not.
Really? It's a synthetic, huh?
It's a bit, it's got synthetic material in it. So that's kind of odd. But it does smell like peat. So I'm going to pour a little of the Port Charlotte here.
I'm sure I've got a couple of Port Charlotte corks in the drawer.
Well,
Most of the time I tend to hold my corks back in a drawer. If they're a good cork, I'll keep them.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, you have to. That I don't care if it's a bourbon cork and you stick it into a Scotch bottle. If it works because your cork broke or is a piece of shit, you do it.
Yeah. I've had a couple.
I've had a couple from Redwood Empire go to shit. Thank goodness for E.H. Taylor.
Yep.
Because it worked fine. Hey, I'll let you know if I ever need one now that I know where they are.
Yeah, I've got
about a
bunch
dozen
of different corks
because I'll go through it. And I don't care if they stick up a bit. I just need it to have a seal. I'm fine. Huh.
Yep.
Unbalanced? Really? Okay. I like that analogy. I don't think I've used it, but you know what? I liked it. So Port Charlotte, 40 ppm in peat.
I don't agree with the heavily peated.
Well, they call it heavily peated, but
I know.
Well, I'm like you. I'm like, huh? But I would consider this heavily peated after the Kilcairn.
Yeah. And compared to a few other ones.
I've had a few others and I know the levels were higher than this. And I'm like, there's peat in here?
Yeah.
And I'm being funny, but it's like, are you kidding me?
That's what I was saying about the Octomore, the 15.3. It's super heavily peated on the label and 300 plus ppm, to start with. And it does not come across. I mean, Port Charlotte and some of those other ones come across more peated than that Octomore does.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's weird. Dean Orange. Yeah.
Now this is peat. This, it's peat, period, end of statement. There is no doubt about it. There is peat in here.
Yep. I'm sipping on a little of the Kilhoman now, the Fino Sherry cask. So you get that the peat note and the sherry.
I don't think I've had a frickin' Kilhoman in a minute. Now that, we've been talking about it, I know it's down there somewhere. I'm going to have to dig it out. Or maybe it's up here.
I always have a bottle of the Chinaig and the Machier Bay.
Oh, that Machier Bay. Mm-hmm.
The Machier Bay, I think, is your normal, more bourbon cask influence. And then the Chinaig is more of a sherry cask influence. So depending on what you like. And, for me,
I like it all.
Sherry go really well together.
Oh, I love sherry. Once you say sherry, I'm like, yes, take my money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And like you're saying earlier, that Kilhoman peat is just so crisp and clean.
It is. Thanks to Sugar Kitty for making that connection on the Machier Bay, Kilhoman Machier Bay. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so good. They're, like you were saying earlier, they're a young distillery, but they're doing wonderful stuff. And, when they started coming out with some stuff that's like 10, 12, 15-year-old, oh, I'm buying all that. I'm buying 2 to start with, not even going to try it,
Oh, yeah. Hey, you got to use whatever corks you got, Eric. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, there you go, Sean. Kind of buttery, like a koala. Yeah, it's really good. Holy crap.
Now, Kolila is a whole nother beast in the
peat
world. But I love it. I love it. It is so good. The way they do it, it's a wonderful experience.
This is a single malt, Koala. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. 12-year-old. This is one of 261 bottles. And there ain't much left of it.
I will say this. This Port Charlotte 10 is good.
Mm-hmm.
But that cork.
Yeah. No, change that thing out.
It's got to go because this is how I describe it. It's starting to get flat.
Yep. Yeah, you're losing the proof and getting too much oxidation going on in that bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to it in a minute. I'm glad I went to it.
Yep. Digging that drawer, pull that up.
Bruichladdich. Hey, there was a reason I picked Bruichladdich. So, and it wasn't because of that, but.
Dang, that's good.
Yes, this is telling me it's time to either finish this bottle or put a one of my wine stoppers in there and you pump out the air.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or
you better just dig off in the.
You want to make it last a few more days. You push the stopper in, you put the pump on it, and it pulls out some of the air from the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better just dig off in your drawer of corks and find one that's good and tight.
And I tell you what, the next guy that comes on, he can't remember the last time he's had something good and tight. I mean, he's lucky if he can remember.
That's true.
Hey, I'm lucky to remember my own name half the time.
Just.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I got a meeting I do tomorrow at like 10 with somebody. So I'm working on a spreadsheet I do. It takes me a little bit while to do it. I got a little bit left, but I'll hop on for a while.
Well, thank you.
I don't have the whiskey that you two gentlemen have, but I'll do my best.
Well, hey, honestly though, Greg,
I'm gonna start tapping up into some of these sample bottles.
Yeah. Well, we'll get with Marty and we'll start the group text again and say, okay, let's pick a Sunday.
Yes, Orlando. It's a German
cork. We're
cork.
going to do it again because
Gutentide.
That last stream from you and that last flight was just freaking phenomenal. And I've actually had people text me, when are you going to do that again? I said, well, Greg is getting it together. He's thinking. I says, but sometimes he forgets what he's thinking about, so it takes a little longer. True. Yeah.
I'm already
apparently.
Go ahead. What's that, Mark?
Apparently, he can find a lot better bottles than I can in my neck of the woods because some of the ones that we've had, I've never even seen them around my neck of the woods. Otherwise, I would have picked one up to try.
Yeah, some of them are like a few I found on like some of the auction pages. Some come from like overseas, So if you buy, they kind of get you for the first bottle, but if you get a couple, then the subsequent charges per additional ain't real bad. So some of it's from there, and there are like, there's one or two places around here, maybe three, to get some decent stuff, beyond the core range of like the big names that you've been talking about and stuff. Like you'll find an odd bottle there. So yeah, I find it here and there. I'm already kind of going through my head what I'm going for the next batch I send you, since you already got this one in the book. So,
well, good. But I'm truthfully, I'm telling you, Greg, I get the people tell me, "Oh man, that was great. That was great." To see that stuff, because some people say, "Yeah, I've only heard of it."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah." I go, when you're in a nursing home, I guess they got this kind of group of people, and it's like the mafia in the nursing home, and they know where things are. And I said, so hey, I got to take advantage of my sources when they got it.
It's like Rossi. I've never even seen that around here. And then some of the other ones, I forgot what all you sent last time. I had them wrote down. Karen maybe was one of them. I think Isla Rossi was one. Aaron,
Rossi. Well, yeah, that was one. Kilcairn. Oh, geez, I have to.
And I forgot the other one. It may have been in Octomore.
Yeah, it was in Octomore. Yep, there was one.
Was it 14-1?
No, that's the one I've got.
No.
It wasn't that. I know that.
I think it was 13 and something.
Yeah, 13-2.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hold on. 13-2. Here it is.
Here you go. Yeah.
13-2.
I'd whip mine out, but it's gone.
You know what the old folks tell them? It's kind of like Shawshank. So instead of the guy going around pushing a cart of books, he's got a cart full of whiskey. He just takes.
There you go. That's a retired home I want to be in.
But the top shelf has the prune juice, the orange juice, the apple juice, and stuff like that. And when he comes around, if someone says the right word, then he opens up the bottom side. And shoot.
There you go.
The bottom side's got the good stuff.
That's what I want.
It's got the cough medicine.
What are you sipping on there, Greg? Look, he's already forgotten.
Just to piss him off, I did have a bottle of Long Branch. I was going to go get it, but I've already beat that dead horse. Let's see. This is the new one. This is the
the Russells. The LLME?
No, I have some of those, but this is the LA. They changed it to LAMK, so it's like November last year. And then I found that I've been kind of blending it with just a little bit of each of a Russell's pick.
Sheesh.
So it's a 10 years Russell and a 10 years Russell's reserve pick. It's pretty good.
Okay. Dang, Orlando, for that price, I'd have bought two for sure.
Oh shit!
$10 for a liter? Come on. Be a good mixer if nothing else.
Hey, where Greg is at the home, they'd have had one hell of a party with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That fits right in their Social Security allowance.
Yeah, well, they take all your money anyway.
And now that Trump says no tax on seniors, shit, you guys are going to be living.
And they're going to raise the Social Security for you too.
I tell you, that's true. I mean, no tax on Social Security. I'm looking forward to that because.
Well, let me just say this, and not to get on a political soapbox, but the money you put in there, you paid taxes on it anyway.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and see, the thing is I file a joint return. So because there's
You file a joint?
No. There we go. This ain't not that Las Vegas. A joint return. So because, mine and my wife's there and she's not retired yet, my benefits become taxable. So if it was only, filing a return, then I wouldn't have anything. But because I file a joint return, I'm over the income threshold. So they tax the shit out of my stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no lube.
No.
I mean, they've been taxing us on our taxes anyways for years. So,
There's no lube, Anthony, and there's no kiss afterwards either.
Nothing. No, not even a happy ending.
I don't mind getting screwed, but hell, I like to at least get kissed afterwards.
Yeah. $10 on the dresser or something.
Yeah. But what the hell?
That's right. But anyway,
I'll you know what? And just for shits and giggles, we might have to do a bourbon one too.
Well, so yes, I was going to say, the next one, sure, throw another Scotch out there, but you're going to have to mix it up with a bourbon because, and that's the next thing I'm going to say, people asked me this, will this be like an every other month or every 3-month thing? And I said, I don't know.
No, I don't have a problem with it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I said, I can't control who sends us 3, drops off samples to us, but I go, sure. I said, none of us are objecting to it. We don't have a problem with it.
I'm not here to pick on Marty because he can't defend himself, but I did send him 4 or 5 bourbons about 3 months ago. He's supposed to review sometime, but you'll get to it.
Oh yeah.
You'll get to it.
It's on
as soon as he remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you thought you were bad with memory. Come on.
Yeah. We could do a bourbon, or I've got a few like Irish floating around if you want to do some Irish sometime.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate as long as it's whiskey.
Nope.
Well,
I mean, you could throw in Taiwanese or,
you know what? That's I've got a couple Indian single malts, but I don't have any Taiwan, which is mostly Catalan, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Catalan. Yeah. I've got one of those, and then there's some Australian stuff's coming out. It's really good too.
Yeah.
And then Indian. There's a bunch of their stuff they're putting out has been quite tasty from what I'm gathering.
I mean, I've had a couple of the Japanese single malt. The only thing I don't like their proof points are so damn low. You know,
Yeah,
40,
exactly. 80 proof across the board. You know, quit proving it to the bottom of the barrel. Come on, you know.
It's like 40, 43 max.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not to say that there aren't others higher, but everything I see here that they bring on the shelf is 40 to 43. Maybe once in a while a 46.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm looking at something here because I only have one bottle of Japanese whiskey. Well, it's two, but it's a backup because it was damn good.
Hey, have you ever tried a tail of cake? I know you're big on the Glenmorangie.
I think he's got that bottle.
I don't have tail of cake. That's one I've never had.
Oh, okay.
If for somehow you know where it is on a shelf, let me know. But that would be like trying to pull hair.
I've seen one. I don't know if it's still there or not.
I know where there's an unopened one down on my living room floor.
I'm sure your wife is tired of kicking it.
Well,
but so this is from it's Nagahama Roma. It's from Nagahama Distillery in Japan, and it's 43 ABV. And I tell you what, this thing I literally had to put on the back shelf because I couldn't stay away from this bastard.
Yeah.
It was a very nice whiskey. And hey, I have no problem with a screw top, people.
Yeah, I don't care.
No problem with a screw top. But it's this was a really rich, sweet whiskey. I was so surprised. And I think I paid $45 a bottle. And I picked up the last two because I had a taste of it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God. And the guy's like, yeah, but we're out of it. And I go, why the hell did you even bring this? I said, find out where there's more. And so he did. I said, call them up, tell them to put their hands on it and put it up front for me. I'm going to buy it. And he did. And I went up there and bought it. But it is, like I said, Nagahama Roma whiskey, non-chill filtered, product of Japan, 43 ABV.
Not bad.
Wow. What a nice whiskey. It's not super viscous or anything like that. And you could see it's kind of light. But boy, this is a damn good whiskey for the money. Holy smokes. Wow.
The one thing I did notice about
damn good whiskey for the money.
The one thing I did notice about the Japanese whiskey is their blending abilities are fantastic.
I am surprised. I truly am surprised. I mean, okay, it's a stereotype, but look, if you're talking sake, well, of course,
yeah, that's different.
You got the market cornered. But this was really damn good. And I did a review of it 2 years ago.
Cheers, Jigs.
2.5, give or take. But damn, it was good. Oh shit, Mr. Jigs. Look at this, look at this, look at this. You know you've made it in Whiskey Tube when Jigs shows up. Because he does not waste his time with just anybody. Of course, he's probably leaving now, but you know.
I've seen some older, like I said, some older Japanese stuff out there. Like I said, my only complaint is I just wish they kicked up the ABV a little bit. You know, that's my only complaint. I
agree with you. I agree with you there. But
the quality of malt is excellent.
Yeah. At 43, though, I will say this. This is nice. This is a nice whiskey at 43 ABV. I was a little, when I first found out that it was a 43 ABV, yeah, I was a little, but I was like, okay, let me try it. And they poured me some. I'm like, oh, shit. And then he told me the price. Take my money. $90 for 2 frickin' bottles? Take my money. Because it was a nice whiskey. It was a flavorful whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an NAS, yes.
Yeah.
But it was a good whiskey under $50. And we just talked about that earlier, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to find those whiskeys at $50 or below, 55, you know, but I'm just saying, Holy smoke. And this is one of them. It's like, oh my goodness. This was a really nice whiskey.
I'll be right back.
I'll have to look, Anthony. The one place where I go that's about a mile away from where I get gas in South Carolina, it's got a pretty good lineup of Scotch. He may have an older bottle of the Tale of Cake. Let me go look down there because he's got like Tokyo. I take pictures when I go in the store and just to see what he has because I don't feel like standing there for 50 minutes and looking through everything. So I just take some pictures. And he's got like Tokyo, Forest, Winter. He's got some of the past ones. And he may have Cake somewhere stored away. So when I go get
find out.
Yeah, I'll get gas.
If it's a C note, just pull it out.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah, I'll go back there.
PayPal, Venmo you, whatever you want.
We'll work that out.
Carrier pigeon. As a matter of fact, I'll send your illegitimate bastard son over to give you the money.
There you go.
I mean, if he's in town, if he's not in
No,
China.
I think he's over in Asia now for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, that's where he's at, or at least that's what he's at.
Yeah, he does that engineering stuff. So I think he's going around to some of the plants they're doing. I don't know all the details, but I think he's out of pocket for the next couple of weeks.
Understood.
So, but I'll look for that. I see if he has that. I'll run down there for the Tale of Cake when I go down to get gas this week.
Now I know Whiskey Uncensored is going to drop off a sample of it to me because I've never had it, but I know really that's one, because Winter is on the shelf here. And like I tell everybody, there's a reason why it's still on the shelf.
Yeah.
Now, like I tell people, if you can find Winter for $50, oh yeah, buy it. It's not like crap whiskey. It just wasn't phenomenal whiskey. You know, it was one of those ones, it just wasn't.
We don't get a lot of, I mean, we get some of the core range. I can't say we don't get a lot, but some of the more exotic stuff we don't get, like here in North Carolina. So I'll go, there's 2 or 3 places across the border in South Carolina. Yeah, you pay a little bit more over retail, but it's not real bad. But every once in a while, because people are going crazy for the word, but no mark stuff down. So like 2 years ago, they were selling like Kilhoman Sanic and Mockyer Bay for like 50% off. It was BOGO. Buy one, get one.
Oh, man. Jeez, heck yeah.
Holy shit.
I walked out.
Did you give him his Christmas presents?
I got a cart and took everything off the shelf. I didn't leave nothing.
I bet you didn't.
I agree. I would too.
And said, I know I could sell this easy and make a profit.
Well, I guess it's down on my living room floor. I don't sell nothing. I either gift it out or just keep it.
I'll give you $52 for a bottle.
There you go. You know what else they have coming out too is they have the Sanic is putting out a cast strength. I haven't seen it yet, but there's a cast strength. There's a
I haven't seen it either.
Which one, Greg?
The sherry base, the Sanic or Shannon.
Okay.
I might be butchering the pronunciation. Yeah, there's a cast strength. You can get the Mockyer Bay cast strength. I got Marty one of them for Christmas a year or so ago. But now they've done it with what Mark just held up, the Sanic. But I haven't seen it yet.
Yep, I hadn't seen it either yet. Otherwise, I would have a bottle.
Yeah, I would too.
My local Specs has they have their own picks of some of them. They have the Fino Sherry cask, and they have a couple other ones. And then I've got one from Irene Tan out there in the East Coast, and it's a 10-year-old single cask. Yeah, and it's really good. Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm not sure how long they've been around, but that's kind of. I mean, they do really good malt, and they must get really good casks because their stuff's 5 to 7 year range. Most of the stuff that's coming.
Yeah,
out.
Most of it. Yeah.
But they do have some single barrel stuff. So if you've got a 10-year, that might be some of the earlier stuff because I mean, how long have they been around? Not that long.
15, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Something like that. They're a young distillery. They really are.
And I think they're like all grain to glass. I mean, they do some of the barley, everything. They got
We were just talking about grain to glass distilleries earlier.
Yeah, they're on Isla, so they're sourcing Isla peat and stuff too. So, and it's good. I mean, it really is.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be a dilemma. If you go to Scotland, where would you go? I mean,
I have to spend a month.
You would. You honestly would
You-
have
you
to
would.
spend at least a month.
because where do you go? Because every unique place has its own unique whiskey. It's like, and none of it's
Yep.
bad. It's just different.
No.
Yep.
And that's what we were saying about the peat. You know, the peat, let's just say around, I'm using Kilhoman as an example because we're talking, is different than the peat for Lafroig, for Ardbeg, for Lagavulin, for
And those are all
Bruichladdich
island
when they
distilleries.
do their when they do their Octomore.
Yeah.
Okay. It's peat is so different. And we're only talking, let's just say 20, 30 miles difference.
Yeah.
And I'm just using that as an analogy. It could be more, it could be less, but peat is so different.
Well,
You know, it depends on where they're harvesting it and you know what died there and decayed and what it did to that matter that they're picking up and drying and then burning.
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the big three like Lafroig, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, they're bringing that in your face dirty peat to you. It's different. They're different, but that's the most pronounced peat. But then some of it's a little bit more subtle, you know. And then if you get to, there's a couple of bottles that I have of just even either Highland or Speyside that peat. I mean, there's peated Glendronachs, not many, but there's some of those out there, you know.
Yep, there are, and Belvini is known for their peat. And when I say known for their peat, for that week, it used to be called Peat Week or Week of
Oh
Peat.
yeah,
I would get confused, but
You
they
know what,
stopped importing that here into the States, and I was freaking pissed. They stopped importing the 15-year sherry. I'm like, why would you do such a freaking thing?
You can only get the peat weeks or week of peat or whatever they're calling, because there's two different kinds. Those are only available now on auction, Anthony. I think I've got like maybe a 14 and a 17. I think.
Hold on, I have one. I have only one. I forget.
I think there's a 19, but I tried to get on auction, but it just wound up being too much.
Here it
This is another one it's coming really good.
Ardnamurchan's great. Yeah,
I like it quite a bit.
And you know what? And there's even the island stuff. If you get Arran, if you get what's coming off the Isle of Man, if you get Highland Park, which is off of what, Orkney or whatever that's pronounced, you know.
Yeah, Orkney. Yeah, that's up north, and they're really light in the peat.
It's a light peat, but it's good.
Oh yeah, I like it.
So this is 2003. This is Peat Week, 14-year-old.
So
2003.
So that came out. I think I had that was bottled in what, 17 then or 18, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is so good, and I found this by accident. And I was just into a place, and I looked up and I go, "Is that right?" And they go, "Yeah." I go, "Is that price correct?" They go, "Yeah." I didn't reach up. I had them reach up and get it because it was too high for me to reach. But I'm like, this is the only one I ever saw here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it again. And then when I was at the tasting this past August of 24, they told me they're not bringing this into the country anymore. They're not bringing the 15 in here anymore, the sherry. And I'm like, what are you freaking stupid? It's like, who doesn't like this? Who in the Scotch world doesn't look for this?
Yeah, that's the peat week. And then I've got one that's called the Week of Peat that has kind of like the artwork on it. But
that's the new stuff.
That one's better. I think.
Yeah, the new it's Week of Peat. Okay, I always get it confused. I don't remember, but okay. Week of Peat is what it is now. This was before.
Right. Yeah, that's the older one, and I think that one's a little bit better. Not that the new one's bad, but that one's a little bit better.
Donald.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, just so you know, I sure hope you didn't get into that Octomore, Donald, because we're coming up to that. So if you want your final pour of the evening, Get ready. I'm giving you permission.
Nothing beats
Giving
a
you
sun
permission.
bath with a nurse that has a little bit of the shakes.
Holy crap.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would not buy that for that. But Pete Week, and from 2003,
You better hang on to that, Anthony, because that is not available anymore. How much
I
is
know. I knew what when I stumbled upon it. Look, the guy could have told me it was $200. I probably would have bought it because I know what this is.
How much
Even Top
left,
Shelf.
Anthony?
Even Top Shelf said, "You got what?" And I said, "Yeah."
How much you got left? I got one bottle. I can't remember what's left in it. I've cracked it, but I can't remember.
I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked at this in a minute because it's one of those I want to push back on the show.
So just look at it. Oh, you're good. You're good.
Oh, it's just barely below the shoulder.
There you go. Put it back in the tube. Put it back in the tube.
Yeah, that's
probably what Greg's looks like too. He had about 2, maybe 3 pours out of it.
That's about it. And the same.
I've actually given. I'm going to say 1, if not 2 samples out of this. I've had 2 pours out of it. But yeah, it's
that being, I can't remember if that's a Speyside or a Highland, but it's a completely different peat profile. It's
yeah. The profile is so different.
Dang.
Wow.
23-year Grigalicky. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's a once in a few year buy. But
yeah, that
might be worth it to have.
I just did that on a. Well, it wasn't $2.99, but it was. Shit, I don't even know where. Oh, here it is. It's an indie, and it's a 30-year-old Taylor Dunn.
Oh, dang.
And oh my gosh! And I actually tried it before I bought it.
Dang, that's lucky.
It is.
Wow.
Is
that a sherry cask? That's dark.
Hold on, let me pop this off. It's sublime. It's a nice whiskey.
Is that a sherry cask one, Anthony?
Looks
dark.
It's dark, but I can't remember. Hold on, let me look here. It was rumored, and that's all I can say, rumored to be a Highland Park. But I can't prove that. But
does it taste like those ones that I sent you? Those ones that were in the burlap bag, or no? Remember those?
No, well, you know what? It's funny you should say that. Hold on. Like the Florida and something else.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Is there any of those still left you got?
Highland Park Scotch in the city, 11 years.
There you go.
Here it is. I was like, I know I still got one left.
Color
there it is.
Close.
That's the one that you dropped off at my door.
Yep.
So in the city, this is 65.4 ABV. That's like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I actually still have one of those samples. And I'm like, and I was going to have it. And I forget what I said. No, I'm going to save that for something else. And I had something else. I don't remember what the heck it was I had.
I don't think they're doing those anymore, Anthony.
These?
No. The burlap bag ones from the Highland Park.
You know, there's a couple at Total Wine there, but they've been here. They've been there for a while.
Yeah, they're floating around, but I don't know if they're putting out any new ones.
I don't think so, because I haven't, because the ones they have there, they don't seem to be able to get rid of. And like you and I talked, if it's still there, there's a reason.
Yeah, I've got like 4 of them. I think I sent you Gulf Coast. I don't know, weird names.
Yeah.
And I think they were done like in if I'm not mistaken, I think these things were done. It wasn't in like a 55. It might have been in a huge barrel, like a ton or something, that holds like 400 or 500 barrels, something like that.
Yep.
It was a huge barrel.
Well, Belvini does that.
Yep. With their blend stuff.
Yeah. They call it ton something, like 1840 or.
Yeah, I think those 1509
huge
and
barrel.
1401 yeah.
Top Shelf just reviewed one.
Yeah, those are the good ones. I think they said that him and Mike did is the 1401s. I think are better than the 1509s or something like that.
Yeah, they're up. Yeah, exactly.
But I think those were done like in one of those huge casks. I can't remember. And then he put them out, and then they were pretty prevalent like 2 or 3 years ago. You were pretty easy to find, and now I guess, like to your point, is the only ones that are left are the ones that maybe people don't like because they're not all that good. Probably, I think the ones the 4 that I sent you were all pretty decent.
Oh, yours were freaking phenomenal,
and some of them were bangers. Like that one's 130 proof.
Jeez,
I'm going to say this:
that's
a
way
lot
up
of them
there.
didn't drink at that proof.
No,
they really didn't.
Because
they really did not.
Anthony, like 65 something in ABV. That one that sample you just had, wasn't that like 65 point something or other?
Yes.
Yeah, they priced them out, and those things, because nobody liked them until everybody liked them. Then they started, it's kind of like it's kind of like that, and the Lucky 7, the 14-year proprietors. Those were pretty easy to get, and then everybody got onto them, and then you can't get them now for less than $250, $300.
And you know what? At the holiday, just before Christmas, I tried a couple Lucky 7s, the holiday toast and something else. And I'm going to say this: it was good, but it didn't make me want to lay them presidents down.
No. You got to get the ones that were the really good ones of those were the 14-year. There was one 15-year I tried. It was good. And they were all like anything north of like maybe 128, 129 to 134. Those were just kind of like, they were like BTAC level shit, if you got a really good one.
Absolutely buy it, Mr. Mom. Buy Tail of Ice Cream. Buy it.
It was some of the creme de la creme. I guess they sourced it a while back. Barton. It was what was in the Lucky 7, the proprietor.
Okay. And I have one open, and I have a backup, and I bought them at that price. And I have a third one on order because that first one I'm down to that much in the bottle, so just a tad below half. I purposely haven't touched it in weeks. When I say weeks, could have been 4 weeks now. But man, that is decadence in a glass.
Diageo did pretty good. I mean, they jacked up the prices a little bit, and it's a little bit higher than it should be. But this last year's 2024 releases of Diageo were pretty good. Like the Lagavulin 12 was pretty good. It was a little pricier than what it was. The Kalila, the unpeated Kalila, was really good. Ken said he liked the Oban, which was pretty good. They had that at a local store. I might have to give that a shot.
So, since we're talking about whiskey, believe it or not,
surprise,
McDonald, when I told you to wait, there was a reason. So at the event, there was something else I just couldn't frickin' pass up because the price was too good. And I've never owned a bottle until now. I have had it because of Greg. And recently, who's not here, because of Marty, but I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, there he is.
15.3 Octomore.
He's bringing the heat.
Coming in at 307.2 ppms. Right here, right now, I'm opening this bitch.
That's the one that you have, ain't it, Mark?
Yes, it is.
Except mine's down to there.
I didn't say anything, but I'm going to open this thing.
The .3s give you the clear or the opaque bottle, so you can see how much.
They all should be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, the 14, you can't tell how much is in it.
No,
at all. I mean, there's just no way. Even the bottom is dark. You can't tell.
no.
And these are 700 ml bottles.
Yeah.
Now. And this is 61.3 ABV.
Mm-hmm.
Aged 5 years. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know what? No, nobody gave a rat's ass about those. Well, over here, until then, everybody did, and everybody started wanting them, and they jacked the prices and up everything on them. You know.
Yep.
There's those ones, and then there's a couple. The first ones that came out, like the experimental ones. There's some that have like a red and a black labeling on them, and some that experimental that have an orange. I've never tried them, but I've seen the bottles of them. You know, and that thing I put in the comments earlier, that Ardbeg that I got, that Hypernova, which was 170, man, that's in your face, Pete. You know, it's drinking hotter than that on a ppm level anyway.
Well,
okay.
I had
this one does not
15.2 last week, and let me just say that the Port Charlotte, to me, the Port Charlotte 10, because it was in the master class I went to for Bruichladdich. That 15.2 at 110 ppms. Mark, don't you have that over there?
I got the 14.
Okay,
1 is what I have.
I'm like heavily peated my ass. That Port Charlotte got more pop, but that Port Charlotte's only 40 ppm.
What's the age on those ones? Like 7 or
this one is 5.
5?
Yeah. This one's 5.
Okay. I have a couple of what they call master class, which are either 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, 5.
And then there's every once in a while they'll put out a 10-year. Not very often, but I've seen the 10 years. Oh, he's going in. Anthony's.
Oh yeah.
Anthony's
bourbon and Oloroso sherry.
Yeah.
I'm opening this sucker as soon as I can get a freaking fingernail in on it, but I can't.
Well, and the fact that they're putting out such good whiskey that's only that old, which means to tell me that they've got a good distillate malt and they're picking some good casks because it's only 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
I had to get my special opener, the bottle opener I keep, made by Spyderco.
Oh, that's a good knife. I got one. I got one Top Dog sent me.
Spyderco?
No, but it says Mr. Greatshot on one side, and then on the other side, it's got a. What is that? Oh, there you go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Oh. And do you see that cork, people?
Mm-hmm. It's a slight bit loose in that bottle, too.
It's not a real cork. But let me get another Glen.
Yeah. that Glen is only going to be for Ardbeg because for Octomore, because after you pour it in there, you ain't going to want to put nothing else in that Glen.
Yeah. Granted, it's peaty, but for 300 plus ppm, I expected it to smack me hard about the head and face. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, at
you get your nose in there and you smell some peat.
Over 100 ppm on the 15.2.
Yeah.
When they told me, I'm like, you're out of your freaking mind. Heavily peated my ass.
Exactly. That's what I said about this one. And on the bottle, it says super heavily peated. So I'm like, okay, this ought to be like right up my alley. You know, I dropped the nose off in there and I'm like, you lied to me. You bastards. You know,
do it, Eric. Okay.
There you go, Eric.
So I'm going to let this Octomore just breathe a little bit.
I think I actually have a little sample of
you got to let that open up a little bit.
But this is if you can see it now because the light's better, but it's a green tube that it's in. It's
Holy! I've got a sample of the Eric Gunderson's, the 13.2. The proof on that puppy, 137.3. Oh, that's 137.3 ppm. Sorry, never mind. I was thinking 137 proof. I'm like, oh my god, but that's the ppm level. It's 58.3 ABV.
Hey,
if
thanks for the shag, but oh gosh, I forgot my wallet. Yeah. But it's okay because I drive a Jag.
Cheers, Donald.
I'm trying to think of. I'm not sure I've ever seen a hazmat Scotch. Is any of you?
I have not.
No.
I mean, just because of the way the dunnage works and the temperature and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It'd be really hard for them to get up to that kind of a proof.
Now, let me just say this. On the nose, I get the barbecue. I honestly get the barbecue on the nose. I get the barbecue on here. I get the malty sweet bread note. And a lot of people say, how can you do that with that peat in your face? I go, the peat isn't to me in my face.
No.
I can get past the peat.
Yeah, I can almost
There's
immediately.
Definitely a sweet barbecue note on the nose of this 15.3.
Well, that's the two, like with not Ardbeg, but Lagavulin. You get the traditional citrus off of that. And people are saying, how do you smell that? But yeah, when you're first into it, I mean, it takes a while to kind of get used to it and pull the notes out of it,
And let me say this. I truly do get a barbecue flavor off of this versus the Enoa from Ardbeg. No, but this truly gives me that barbecue sauce note.
I think there's still one or two of those barbecue smokers still floating around here. The tin.
Well, that's what I was telling Mark. If he finds one of those, he just needs to spend the $80, $90, whatever.
Oh yeah, I'll get it
just for that tube.
Yeah, they're discontinuing that.
Oh yeah, that whole line's going away. So if you just find a bottle, I said the bottle's the bottle.
Yeah.
Keep the tube, throw the box the frick away.
Yeah.
But when you're done with the bottle,
I saw one
sucker in there
at one of my local Twin Liquors. I saw one of those. It's been a few months back now. Yeah, Twin Liquor, obviously weird. I wouldn't expect that to be there, but they have a bunch of good Scotch at this certain one that I go to over in South Austin. And now my other guy up north, by Round Rock, that guy, he might have one. That's where I found that Octomore. Well, the 14-1, I found that there, and then my local, they had a.
That's what I heard.
The 15.3. Yeah, Ardbeg, I know.
That's what I heard. They're discontinuing it. And the other bummer is, I need to go find some because there's a few floating around here, is the Speyburn 15s and maybe the 18s are going down to 40% ABV, that's destroying that whiskey.
Oh, man.
Because they already have the new 10s are down to 40% ABV. And they were going down with the 15s and I think maybe the 18s. But yeah, that's killing it.
Oh man, it's like an orange marmalade.
Have you tried the Speyburn 15, Anthony?
I'm trying to remember. I've got the 10. I think it's the 10 and 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good.
That came from overseas because they're 1 liters.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good malt.
Oh, that Speyburn 10 and the 16, they're fabulous whiskeys.
But if they knock that 15 like down to 40, that's going to ruin it. Fuck, even Bowmore 15's 43.
Yeah, Bowmore.
All right. Like I said, on the nose, it is barbecue sauce. It's sweet barbecue sauce all day long on the nose.
Yep. It's sweet.
And Now remember, I said it's what 307.2 ppms for the peat level on the Octomore 15.3, and they say super heavily peated.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, I'm just going to say, I had the 15.2 at 110, and I'm just rounding, and I'm like, because just before that, I was sipping the Port Charlotte 10 heavily peated. And it's like, no, couldn't be. But the proof is in the glass. But here we go. It's peaty. It's sweet. It's vanilla on the palate. A little spice because it's 61 ABV.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the 18 had a little more peppery finish than this does.
And the peat level, does it come across as 300 plus?
No.
No. Not even close. That's why it was so disappointing to me, because I'm like, 300 plus ppm? Oh, yeah. Come on, give me some, And it went like, oh, here, tap. And I'm like, really?
And
what
truth
happened?
be told, people know what this bottle costs. Okay.
Yeah, like $1 something.
Oh, it's $1 something, all right.
Yeah, it's more than that around here.
Yeah. It's about $2.99 a bottle here.
I got mine cheaper than that. A lot cheaper than that.
Me too.
You got connections, Martin.
Me too.
I knew the owner.
Me too.
So,
I got mine a lot cheaper than that. And that's why not only did I buy that 18, I bought this because
I think
at 169, I couldn't pass it up. 69 or 179.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think, about what I gave. About $1.80, I think that's what I get for mine.
Yeah. I know I didn't pay over that, but okay. But I could not pass that up because of this event. So tax title out the door, just saying, for these two bottles, the 18 and this, for $350.
Yeah.
I couldn't pass it up.
If you're looking for the older releases and the shipping's not real bad, there's a place called Whiskey Cyprus, which is in the island of Cyprus. And I bought bottles from him, and he has some of the older Octomores going back to maybe the 5s and 6s. And they're not outrageously priced and stuff like that. And I haven't bought one off them in a while, but there are some of the older releases you can get out there that are pretty decent price. Way cheaper than auction.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Octomore is definitely one of those that is, you need a bottle on the shelf. If you're a peat lover and you like really good Scotch, you need at least one bottle. You can mix it up and you have because each release, the 14-1, the 2, the 3, they're all slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't make a difference which one you get. Octomore itself is going to be a pretty damn good pour.
Well, let me just say, this is a fresh crack.
Yeah.
And it is a good pour. I mean, the peat is there.
Yep.
You're drinking peat, but it's not a Lagavulin peat like you would think.
Oh,
it's
completely different.
It is not an Ardbeg peat.
Mm.
And they are way below the level of here. This is such a refined peat that I would give this to somebody that's already had a toe in the water. And I'm serious. That's already had a toe in the water and understands peat. They would taste this, and I would believe that they would go, what?
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Agreed.
I mean that. This is a nice whiskey in itself. The color is a nice golden color.
Yeah, and that stuff's all unchill filtered, non-colored.
It is beautiful. It's a beautiful whiskey. It's a beautiful whiskey. And I wasn't going to open this just yet, but because of everything that, what had happened, I said, okay, let's do a Bruichladdich. And I said, what the hell? I've got them here. Let's open the 18. Let's open the Octomore. Let's go through the start from the core range and kind of move its way up to some of the other expressions they have. I said, what the heck? But the 15-2 finished in that cognac is absolutely sublime. And if I hadn't have bought the 18, I probably would have bought the 15-2 and this.
Oh, wow. That's so completely different.
Yeah, it is freaking amazing.
Now I've got 2 of them in the Glen.
I know.
This is the 15-3. This is the 13-2.
Are you blending, Mark?
No. They're separate.
They're different.
The noses are completely different. There you go. This is the 15. This is the 13.
Look at the change in color.
You can see the different colors. The 13-2 is a lot darker. More sherry influence on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes across in the nose too.
I can't remember. Is the dot ones like all bourbon, and then the dot?
I think the ones are bourbon. The
2s are wine cask finish or something.
2 are wine and the 3 is sherry. I think it's how it works.
And then if someone said the 3 is the Isla barley, the local barley that I can't remember the whole way that worked out.
But this does not come off as such a high peat level. It just doesn't.
No, it's definitely noticeable, but
it is. It's there. It's like sniffing an Ardbeg. It's like sniffing a Lefroy.
That's sweeter.
But I don't get that medicinal peat note.
Not at all.
That you do in Lefroy. I don't.
Not at all.
No.
There's none of that Band-Aidy, iodine type of a note. No.
No, the sweetbread comes through.
Hey, Jody. Cheers, brother.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bourbon Bounty. What's up? Cheers, man. Just sipping on a little Octomore 15-3. 15 or 13-2 was it, Mark, or 13-1?
Yeah, 13-2.
13-2. Greg is just having his nightly prune juice so he can have his movement in the morning.
With a little fiber all in there.
See there? I mean, it looks like it's a Russell's 10, but, it's not.
It's a blend.
It's a blend. That's right. It's a blend.
I haven't seen many, but I've actually seen indie bottles of Octomore out there too, which would be interesting.
What's that?
Oh, wow.
I haven't seen many, but there's places I've actually seen like indie bottles, single casks of Octomore.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the 13.
I've never heard of that.
Definitely sweeter.
There's some of those. There's the core range that they've been putting out. Then there's some experimental ones that they put out early that come like in an orange wrapper around the cork and everything. And then there's some indie bottles that they put out there. So there's a pretty wide range of stuff. Now, some of it's pricey because it hasn't been out in a while, but there's different Octomores.
Okay. Well,
I haven't seen those, but I would be interested in them. That's for sure.
With the Octomore, it's definitely. I mean, you can pick a bottle. It would be really nice if you go to the store and if they had different ones. Like the whatever number, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and you could try each one of those, because each one of those is different.
Yeah.
The 1 is different than the 2. The 2 is different than the 3, and the 3 is different than the 1. They're all different. So it would be really nice to be able to try those and then see which one you actually liked as far as your own personal preference palate, and then pick that bottle, because you're going to spend a lot of money on that bottle. Come on. They're not cheap. And that's why I've only got 2,
Yeah.
if I can find those. And I was lucky to find those. I didn't get to pick those, basically. That was the only one that was on the shelf. And I'm like, oh, I'll take it. So, but it would be super nice to be able to actually have a sample of that to try.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, Ken.
We have the man from the land down under is officially checked in.
That's right. He heard the word Bruichladdich, just like when I say Lagavulin, it's like the alarms go off down under, and here he shows up. But
yeah,
at 307.2,
does not drink like that. That's what I was saying earlier.
I taste it. Believe me, I taste it. It is there. It's prominent. But the flavors of the whiskey still shine through.
Yeah.
With such high ppms of heat, the flavor is still it's still there. It's still prominent in this whiskey. And that's that to me is a great quality, because I always say, if the peat pushes through the true flavors, then what are you trying to mask up? This isn't masking anything. You get the sweetness out of this.
Oh, dang.
And the way it just works. It just works. And yes, it is a high peat level, but it just works beautifully.
Oh, when you get it just a little bit less in that Glen, put a couple of drops of water in that sucker. Try that.
Hey, did I ever send you any of those Bowmore vaults?
Not that I know of. I don't think I've had any Bowmores.
Because the only reason I ask is, you know what? And I'm no expert or anything, but supposedly, like 50s and 60s, they were putting the best shit out on Isla, and now the stuff that they have is just really mediocre.
Yeah. Okay.
Here I am putting a couple of drops of water in whiskey there, people, live on YouTube.
I mean, what is it?
61.3
ABV, 120 plus.
It can handle it.
You can handle a few drops of water in that sucker. Now get your nose on it.
Hey, Anthony.
And the palate changes too.
Anthony, did it say oral or rectal on that drop?
It's whatever you want it to be, Greg.
I always check the thermometer when I go in for my annual physical. Make sure I'm getting
say, I want to make sure it's at least the rectal, doc, that you're putting in my mouth.
Before you put that in my mouth, let me see that.
That's right. But
I
put 3 drops literally in here of water, and I'm making it dizzy. The peat level on the nose hasn't changed one bit.
No.
Let's just get this thing going here. But I will say this. I think it's brought out some sweetness.
Mm-hmm. A little more of a sweetness, a little more fruity.
I'll give you, and you know what? I'm really not, I'm getting some ethanol, but not what I would anticipate at over 60 ABV.
I mean, it's 120 plus proof, so, check the top of the Glen.
Yeah.
Gets a lot more fruit notes up there. Above the top of the rim. Man, it's a good whiskey. It really is. Yep. Or Taco Bell. No, that's a colon blow right there.
Boy, it is.
Yeah.
Wendy's also.
The Mexican phone company. Yeah, that's colon blow.
Mhm.
Dang, that's
All right.
good.
That's when you don't want to be more than 10 steps away from the head.
Yep. Yeah. If you can get it to go, yeah, do that. Eat when you get to the house.
Anything more than 10 steps is a risk.
Even taking steps could be a risk.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, hell, at our age, we don't never trust a fart anyways. So,
No.
No, that's why they put depends on them at the home.
You know what? I said it on Ken's stream, and I'll say it here. You come into this world shitting your pants, and if you live long enough, you go out shitting your pants.
That's right. That's right. And so when your kids say to you, Dad, and you go, what? That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's
Shit
called
happens.
the circle of life.
Oh, man, that 13.2 is completely different.
There you go.
And speaks from experience.
He knows. I made that on his stream.
That's right. Absolutely right.
Ain't no way getting around it.
Mm-mm. And sometimes sooner than you want to admit.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Just throw those underwear away.
Don't even think about putting those in the hamper.
Don't do it.
Throw it out in the lawn, hit it with a garden hose.
There you go.
Not even wrapped up in a plastic shopping bag. Just take them right out to the dumpster.
Amazon is good. Home shopping network for men.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? The wife pulls them out of the hamper. She ain't talking to you for 2 weeks.
You got it, Donald. I'm telling you, Donald. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, if you're lucky, yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Greg got a lot of them.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I've been one of those commando guys for many years.
Let me give you a suggestion, Mark. Don't wear white shorts.
You got to wear the baggy ones,
He's
everything just kind of goes right on outside.
Mark's like them people at Walmart.
No, I'm not that bad. I banned Walmart years ago.
Yet. Just say it. Yet.
Shit, half those people go to Walmart wearing pajamas and slippers.
There you go, Ken.
Skid guards.
Actually, Greg, I do have on pajama bottoms and flip-flops right now.
There you go. He's just going to leave that chair and head into another one. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Luckily, I have a pool between here and the house. So,
There you go.
You can always jump in the pool, rinse off, and go in there.
That's right. Rinse off.
He's good to go.
Or you can get the garden hose, a redneck bidet.
Oh, Lord. What happens when we let the old folks in here?
Yeah.
Whenever you pop up, you should just block me.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Orlando. Well,
Yeah.
I'm only
Mark
55. Come on, I'm a young guy. Sheesh.
Mark's free with information.
Yeah, occasionally.
He don't charge. But Yeah, the 15.3 Octomore actually is quite a pleasant drink. Honestly, it is.
Yeah, it's a good pour. I really like it.
I mean, yes, I've got peat flavor, absolutely, but it's not that Ardbeg Lagavulin peat. It just isn't.
No.
And this punches. I mean, the peat level in this compared to that, this peat level is literally
it's higher, but it doesn't beat you about the head and shoulders.
Oh,
I mean?
no,
Yeah,
not
it really
at
does.
all.
Well,
Not at all.
It's where they're pulling it from the peat from, like you said. Then they got to dry the stuff. Then they've got to put it in the kiln, and then they got to get that peat smoke to malt the malted barley. So I mean, there's a whole lot of factors that goes into just how much influence that peat has on the malted barley and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like I was telling to Anthony earlier, I don't think that their ppm level. I'm not sure where they register it at, where they measure it at. I think it may be on the malt or the mash, basically. And I think when they distill it, that should be where you measure it at. And I think, just my personal preference from having a little bit of distilling knowledge back in the day, I think that if they distilled it to a lower, get the lower end of the distillation run, that's where your peat's going to come across in that lower part, the lower ABV that's coming across the still. And I don't think they kept that. I think they put that into something else, and they collected a little bit of the heads and then mainly hearts.
Yeah.
And then most of your peat comes across in the tails, the tail cut, And I don't think that's not what they collected. They collected some because it comes across in the glen, but not as much as I would expect at 300 plus ppm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't even know how they measure it, to be honest with you.
No, I don't know.
It's a number that they put on the bottle or the canister.
It's
making fun of the old man on stream.
Yeah, it's a good whiskey. It truthfully is a good whiskey.
If I appear on one more stream, I might go get myself a Miller Lite.
Hey, you would not upset Z-Man.
Yeah.
You got the reference.
Cheers, Sinboo. Good to see you, sir.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, that Port Charlotte stuff is amazing, Mark. It truly is. It's very good whiskey. Very good whiskey. But I think Bruichladdich altogether makes a great line of whiskeys from their core on up to the Octomore. I mean, I've been lucky this year to have two others besides this, one from Greg. And then I've got the 14 one. I haven't had it yet, but Marty sent me that. And I haven't opened it, but that was going to be my stream on the 16th before I had to drop out of that real quick and take the dog to the vet. I've never had an Octomore until Greg and then Marty. And then now, of course, I've lucked out and was able to get a bottle at what I thought was a reasonable price. And I really like Octomore.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I think it's a great tasting whiskey. I'm glad I've got the opportunity to try them. I'm glad I've got the opportunity to pick one up at a great price. And unfortunately, not everyone's going to be that lucky.
No.
But hopefully you are, to get it at a price that you feel comfortable at paying. And I would definitely tell you that the 15.2 is a phenomenal dram.
But you're drinking 53.
And then, of course, if you really want to go for the peat, The 15.3 this year is fabulous. I mean, all of them.
Yep.
I mean, but over $1,000 for 3 bottles. That's a tough nut to bust.
Yeah, I mean, if you like peated whiskey, peated Scotch for sure, and you get a chance to get a bottle of Octomore for, say, 200 or less, get you one, just so that you have one and you can try it whenever you like. Other than that, your other stuff like Port Charlotte, Ardbegs, Uigeadail, there's a lot of other peated whiskeys that are really good too, and a lot cheaper price than an Octomore. But it's one of those whiskeys that, if you're slightly a collector or you have, a decent amount of whiskeys, you're going to want one at least.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you like peated Scotch, have at least one on your shelf.
Yeah, and I agree. After having this one and after having tasted 2 others prior, I absolutely agree. If you can get it at a price that you feel is fair, absolutely buy yourself an Octomore treat, whether it's let's just say the 15.1, the 15.2, or the 15.3, the 14.1, 2, or 3, whatever it is. If it's at a price you can afford, go ahead and splurge on it. And literally, it's for, I'm going to say part of it's for bragging rights. Yep, I've had the Octomore. It's a good whiskey. Yeah. Without a doubt. To say you've had it. And so now I can literally say, I own a bottle of Octomore. And I've never had one. Until recently, I've never had a bottle of Stag, but it's sitting up there because every time I go to buy one, they're freaking gone.
Yeah, I've never seen a bottle of Stag on the shelf right here for me to even buy. The only reason I've tried it is I've went to, I've had some samples from some of the wonderful people in, different chats that I've been in.
Look, here's one in the wild. Yeah. I got it right here.
There you go. Occasionally you can stumble across one. Yeah. Down here in Austin, I'm not stumbling across one, more than likely.
Which one's that?
Dude, it was like stepping into that dog shit at the park where it oozes up in your toes. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
There you go. It's a wonderful thing once in a while, And
you don't mind the smell.
I did actually go down to one of my local pizza joints / bar that's downtown Bastrop. And they had George T. Stagg, the 2024 version of George T. Stagg on the shelf in a bottle. And I'm like, hey, how much for a pour of that? And he said, $22. I said, hook a brother up. I got to try George T. Stagg, and I'm like, that sounded bad. I mean, granted, it's a little proofy. It's like 137-ish or something like that. So it's a little,
it's a little hot. 6 and some change, I think, Mark.
Yeah, it's proofy.
There was one of the local bars around here. I think I took Shane to lunch for his birthday, and they had it. And for $25, you got like a 2-ounce pour. Which
heck yeah!
Fuck
you can't beat that. Come on.
And I think it was.
I was pissed that I didn't bring a 2-ounce sample bottle with me and get an extra pour. Just put in the sample bottle, take home for later.
Funnel with a sample bottle.
Exactly. Wait a minute, I got another sample bottle here. Hang on, give me another pour.
Yeah. And I think he had a handy from not last year's, but maybe a year or 2 ago. That was the same thing. 2 ounces for like $25. Fuck, you can't beat that.
Oh heck no! I mean, and that's a great price. For one of us, Joe Blow local guys to even get it, try it.
I mean, that's probably a 50 or 60% markup over cost for a BTAC bottle, which you cannot fucking beat.
Yep.
For our retail,
Well, I can say this is you're right. But
there you go, Orlando.
Mr. Mom, thank you. We appreciate that. We just, try to keep it lively and good. And
that's another
we
one.
we can get Greg to, hijack a computer at the home. You never know what's going to happen.
I mean, that's another one everybody knows the big names on Isla, but you got Bruichladdich, you got Bruichladdich, you've got Kilhoman, you've got
Lagavulin.
Well, that's a I consider that one of the big names, but maybe what people it's a big name, but people don't know about it is Kalila, which is really good. You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had to name the big four, it's probably Bowmore, Lagavulin, Ardbeg, and Lafroig.
Yep.
And I guess now, if you want to count Port Charlotte because they're coming back.
Yep. Yeah, Port Charlotte is one of the, I tend to keep that on my shelf all the time. Port Charlotte 10.
Not sure. Port Charlotte.
Climate.
Port Ellen, that's what I meant to say.
This is a great bottle by an independent bottler.
That's a
great bottle.
What's that? A
15-year Klein leash.
15-year Klein leash.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh, that is a good bottle. If I'd have known how good it was, and I mean it, I would have bought 2. But when I figured it out, because it was weeks after I got it that I opened it, I'm like, holy shit. They were gone.
Not me. Shoot.
They were gone.
You know
Story of my life. And by the way, if you notice this, that's not the cork that went in it, because when I popped it, the cork freaking broke. Day one. So this is a triple R from cork from Total Wine that I saved from a Russian River rye, which is, by the way, for $40, freaking fabulous whiskey. It fit just right in here up to that particular point, and I'm like, good enough.
Yep. She's sealed.
It's sealed, and that's all I care about. I can hold that like this, and it doesn't.
This bottle of Glen Scotia that I got from Whiskey Mentors, Irene Tan out there in where's she at? Dang, East Coast. But anyway, that's a Glen Scotia. It's a 9-year-old Glen Scotia that she picked. And stupid good.
Get the 10.
Get a Lafroig 10 before you get the Wee Beastie.
Or the Ardbeg 10.
Or
the Ardbeg 10 way before the Wee Beastie.
Wee Beastie is okay. I mean, it's a nice, cheap, easy pour.
It is, but you know what? For the $10 more difference, even if it's 15 now, buy the 10 in the Ardbeg.
Yeah.
And Ardbeg, between Ardbeg and Lafroig, Ardbeg is a heavier peat than Lafroig, believe it or not.
It's a different peat.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely different peat.
Yeah, you don't get the Band-Aid iodine.
No, you don't get that. You don't get that blessing.
Hey, Mark, what do you got against Band-Aids and iodine? Those are good.
I like it nowadays.
Well, I grew up with iodine, so yeah, that's fine.
Greg, the first time I tried it, the Freud 10, I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck could actually drink this crap? This is horrible.
The first time I tried peated scotch, I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand it.
I give away. I bought a whole bottle. I had one, maybe like half an ounce pour, and my buddy had another half an ounce pour out of the bottle. And we tried it. And we're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And I wound up giving it to my brother because he likes scotch and other whiskeys. And he tried it. He's like, no, I don't like this. This is horrible. And then he had a neighbor of his in his neighborhood is an Indian guy. And he liked it. So he's like, here you go. So I'm like, I give it to my brother. I'm like, if you don't like it, give it to somebody you think might.
Yeah.
And so he did. He gave it to his neighbor, and his neighbor loved it, and he drank the rest of that bottle. Since then, I tried. Who was it? One of the guys on YouTube sent me a sample of Lafroig Lore, and I tried that one, and I'm like, oh, well, this is completely different than the 10.
Yeah.
It had a little hint of that same kind of Band-Aid iodine, burnt on the beach, saltwater, peat smoke to it, but it wasn't the same thing as the 10.
No, I think the lore has some sherry cask in it, I believe.
maybe that helped blend it out or covered it up a little bit.
Yeah, because I really enjoy Lafroy. That if they pick some really good casks, like last year's Carchus.
Yes, that was excellent.
When they get the right sherry cask with it, it's really really good.
Yeah, the Carchus is completely different than the 10. You don't get any of those same kind of notes. The Band-Aid, iodine, that kind of stuff. It does not come across at all in the Carchus. Because I've got this year's Carchus and another one that's it's a wine finished, like maybe a wine and Madeira or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was the 2 years ago. That was the white port Madeira. That was good too.
There you go. Yeah, now that's good. It does not taste like a normal Lafroy 10 by any means. So I'm like, oh, so there's differences, and that got me started on the peat journey of trying different things.
When I first tried Lafroy 10, I tasted like, boy, I guess I just fucking wasted $50.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I'm like, oh my God, this tastes like you had a Band-Aid and then or you had a wound and you sprayed mercurochrome. Remember that stuff?
Oh yeah.
You sprayed mercurochrome over it, slapped a Band-Aid on it, then ripped that Band-Aid off, threw it into a fire that you started on the beach and put it out with salt water, and then run your whiskey through all that.
Yeah.
And I'm
exactly.
Like, wow,
isn't that delicious?
It's horrible.
Well,
It's
you forgot, drug it down a freshly tarred road.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what?
Like, oh my God.
That's a typical first time Ardbeg experience, or excuse me, Lagavulin.
Lagavulin, yeah.
Yeah.
Lafroy.
Lafroy. Gosh. But that's the typical because it is so medicinal in the peat.
Yeah.
And you switch to Lagavulin.
Oh yeah. You go from that to like a Lagavulin 16 or something, and you're like, oh, this is a lot different. It's a lot more laid back, The 16 years of age has kind of tamped some of that stuff down, and it's not in your face as much, You know
what I wonder, and I talked to Ken about this today, was, some of the stuff from 40 or 50 years ago, because most of this stuff originates from reused bourbon barrels.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the bourbon barrels 40, 50 years ago was like 200-year-old oak. It wasn't like So can you imagine what some of the single malt tastes like coming out of them barrels?
Oh man, it's been some damn good shit right there. Yeah. Oh my God!
And it wasn't as mass commercially produced as it is today. So volume isn't so there was a little bit more of that variant, because everything now is nice. They got probes and everything. Once it hits a certain number, take it out and do that shit. So you have all those intangibles, plus that really older wood.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the logging business for a while. I mean, my dad and I in Kentucky had our own sawmill. There we were cutting up wood, white oak, red oak, different things like that. And, most of our wood would go to, especially the white oak and red oak would go to flooring, like tongue and groove flooring. Yeah. That's where we sold a lot of that stuff to. And
I'm sorry, is it me?
I don't know. Thanks, Eric.
I don't have anything up.
I don't have anything open, but
it just
I'm looking at right now.
Do I need to sign out anything and come back in? Or I didn't change nothing.
But what I was saying about the wood is, a lot of from being in that industry in Kentucky, a lot of the oak that you would get in Kentucky, it's not oak growth anymore.
No,
it's 50 to 80-year-old wood. It's not 100, 200-year-old stuff. And then they don't age it nowadays, especially they don't age it in the yard as much as they used to.
Yeah, that's the second thing too. Is it's not only the wood's not older, it's not cured as longer. In the old days, they'd fucking cut the staves out and let that shit sit in the yard for 5, 6, 7 years with the sun and the rain washing all the bitterness out of the wood.
Yep. And when the wood goes all gray and everything like that in the yard, aging for at least 2 years. At least 2 years.
Well, in the older days, it was a lot longer than that.
In the older days, it was long. It was more because they had so much more of it laying around.
Yeah, and that's
so
you get like some of that like 60s and 70s stuff. It's only like 40 or 43% ABV. There's so much fucking flavor in it, you know.
I know.
And oily. You know?
And that's the thing, is the barrels that they were able to make back then were so much better, Well, and then they would only use them in Kentucky. You get 4 to 6, maybe 8 years, and then they're shipping that stuff overseas.
And then all those barrels are going over to Scotland and Ireland.
And then they're using that same barrel to make good whiskey and aging it over there in their climate, which is completely different than here in the U.S.
Well, and then, if you've got a 150 or 200-year-old oak, then you can get a 2 or 3 use for Scotch out of it,
Yeah, for sure.
A third fill, because there's so much flavor still left in the fucking wood.
Exactly. And especially if they, like shaved some of the old char off of it and then recharred it. Oh my God, it's like it's a brand new barrel. Because the whiskey only goes so far into the wood. It seriously only penetrates so far typically. Other than going through, where the wood butts together, the cracks, you're going to lose a little bit through that. But it's not going through all the wood fibers. So you're going to get a lot of those old vanilla, notes and things like that out of the wood.
Vanilla, butterscotch, all that shit,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's if I ever find a time machine, I'd go back just for the whiskey. I ain't going forward. I give up my phone, all this other shit. Just go back for the whiskey.
Yeah. And if you had enough money to stockpile some of that stuff, damn, son.
Yeah. If we knew 25, 30 years ago what we knew now, would all be fucking millionaires,
Yep.
Exactly. And we said the same thing 30 years ago. If we only knew what we knew then, 20 years prior, it'd be different. But
well,
how many of us really listened to the parents? So
because at one point in time, you couldn't give fucking bourbon away,
No. 30 years ago, I was drinking Wild Turkey 101 with 7-Up in a mason jar.
And you thought you were living.
Oh, I was still in the Air Force at that time.
Right. You were living high on the hog with that money.
No, it's good, cheap whiskey.
It was. And I say
but it was 101 with an 8-year age statement on the bottle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and what was the age statement? Yep. What was the age statement on that bottle?
Being the old guy here, I mean, as we all know.
Yep.
I mean, shit. I'm around drinking age in the late 70s. Fuck, you could go and get a bottle of probably 8-10-year-old Austin Nichols Wild Turkey for less than $10.
Exactly.
And now what would that box be for today? If you had that box today, fuck.
Yeah. And it was good. I mean,
good.
Back then, I wasn't drinking it by, like this kind of a pour. I was always mixing it,
Well, yeah. Nobody,
with 7-Up or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't know what the fuck we had. That's basically what the story is,
Yeah.
Would mix it, and we were there not to enjoy the whiskey. We're there to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, after that, I got into like Crown and Coke.
Yeah.
I was drinking Crown and Coke. That was my drink for a while. And then nowadays, I can't drink Coke at all. It's just horrible.
No.
And I don't like Crown whatsoever anymore either.
In their defense, some of the ones that have come in that oblong purple tube the last few years, some of them have been pretty good. Like the winter wheat, the barley one. There was a 15 or 16-year rye, a sour mash. There was a run there where they had some pretty decent bottles. I mean, it's a little bit lower ABV, which is kind of the downside. I think it's maybe only like 40, maybe 45% ABV, so it's about 90 proof. But it was really good, for Crown, as opposed to the Crown that comes in the cheap bag,
Yeah, purple bags. I used to have plenty of those.
They give them out here at the damn.
Well, that was back in the 90s, though.
Yeah.
Early 90s. I got completely away from that. And I've had one bottle of Crown since the early to mid 90s, and not impressed at all.
They give them out at the local ABC store. I said, "Those free?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Take what you want."
Dang.
There you go.
Yeah, jewelry bag.
You put your nickels and pennies in there.
There you go. Yeah. Well, my pills. One color's for the morning, one color's for the evening.
Oh, here's one that I got from Ben.
Oh yeah, Seagram's VO. But that
Yep.
one's, look at the tax stamp on that.
Yeah, you got the tax stamp. You can't read it. 1963.
Have you cracked it? How is it?
Oh yeah, it's down to here. It's really good. It's super smooth.
I remember back in the day, they used to have VO, Canadian Club, Canadian Mist, all that shit.
Yep. And Seagram 7, that was my drink back in the day too when I was in
7 and 7.
Back in high school. Seagram 7 and knee-high grape.
Exactly. So
But we were also drinking Shine, that I was getting from, some people in, there's a place in Kentucky called LBL, Land Between the Lakes. There's a place down there called On Golden Pond. There was an old guy down there. I mean, he was old back then when I was a youngster, but he made fantastic moonshine. And I usually get some of that occasionally. And man, that's good stuff. You can mix that moonshine with anything you wanted to, and it was really good. You could chase it with ice water, and it was fantastic.
Exactly.
For the mash, were they using corn for that? Or
yeah, mainly corn. Yeah, corn, and they would mix in a little bit of wheat, or a little bit of rye occasionally, something like that. But it was all about making the cuts, because this old guy, he knew what he was doing. He wouldn't take any of the heart cuts, and he wouldn't take hardly any of the tails, just dead center hearts. So It was really smooth. I mean, he put it out it was right about 100, 110 proof, but it would drink like it was about 80 proof.
Yeah.
Because you could chase it with just a little bit of water and be like, oh, good to go, But, 3 or 4 ounces, and you're like, oh, this is pretty good stuff,
That's like there's a video out there, the last run or something, when Popcorn did his last batch.
Mm-hmm.
It's on YouTube. It's like a 1 or 2 hour video and stuff like
where I've seen it.
Is steel and stuff and everything. And
Popcorn made good stuff. He knew what he was doing as far as making his cuts like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
The top stuff that pulls off, and then the back end stuff pulls off, and then you put that into a separate container. That's what they call feints.
Yeah.
And then you distill that into your next run. But the heart cut, that's the good stuff. That's what you keep. Yeah. And, it varies, according to how you're distilling it, as far as proof goes. But it usually winds up between, 80 to 110, right in that range.
I mean, his stuff was so good, it was in high demand, because he was really good at it. And the only regret, I guess, 2 regrets is, I guess they were going to prosecute him, and that's when he went out and just started his car and took himself out. But the other thing is, God, if some of that would ever made it to a fucking good barrel, can you imagine?
Oh man, if it could have aged some of Popcorn stuff, Happy ain't got shit on that.
I mean, that's basically hillbilly Stitzel-Weller.
Yeah, exactly. If we could have had some aged Popcorn Sutton moonshine in a barrel,
a good barrel, a good bourbon barrel.
Especially the barrels with the wood from back then.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter.
Good. Oh my God, it would have been so good.
Yeah, because he was really good at.
Yep.
He was still doing everything in that video, and is going into mason jars.
Yep.
Yep.
mason jars, and the old glass the big bottles. We had those too, and man, that would have been some really good stuff.
When he'd distill it, like you said, he'd only take the heart, so he'd take maybe about 60% of the run would be what he'd jar. The heads and the tails would go.
Yep, heads and tails to go. Throw that into the paints, add that into the next second run of the next.
You know what? That's on his tombstone.
Yep,
Popcorn
it is.
Says, fuck you. There was the one guy that used to do the crazy shit where the guy the guy was stapling his legs and stuff. I can't remember what the hell that was, but he went down to interview him, and it's on there. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but it's a great interview. Popcorn.
Yeah,
that's when he made the comment that I've got a 3-inch dick and a 6-inch tongue, and I know how to use both of them.
Hell yeah.
He
still drove an old Model A, That's what he drove around all the time.
Which was what was that from, Mark? Like the 20s? That damn old Model A he had?
Yeah, it was like mid-20s, 25, somewhere in that range, something like that. Yeah, it's a badass little car,
Yeah, if you want to watch it, it's all that stuff's on YouTube. Go watch the videos of him doing that last run or whatever it's called, and then that one interview he did. It's really good.
Last goddamn run of moonshine I'm going to ever make.
Yep. And he'd just go off to some remote place in the woods because he had to have a stream, because he had to have water.
Yep, got to have the water to cool to run through the condenser.
Yeah,
it's not a hard thing. I actually made a shine still in second grade as a science project.
Yeah.
That's back when gasohol. Remember that? We had the big embargoes and stuff.
Don't burp.
They were just starting to mix in alcohol with the gas, to make it last longer, because there was, remember all the lines at the gas stations? Nobody could get no gas and stuff.
75. Yeah.
Yeah.
They told Greg he had a good time that year.
Well, odd numbers and even numbers license plate, depending on what day you had. That's how you just went to the gas station.
I made a little shine still out of paint can and coffee cans, and I could put out 190 proof stuff back then, and in second grade. So it's not hard to make your own shine. It really is.
No.
It's just that the government says, "Oh no, you don't. You can't make your own moonshine." But they're working on that nowadays, especially down here, even in Texas. They're saying that that's bullshit. It's antiquated. You can make your own beer. Why can't you make your own shine? So they're working on it. So we'll see.
Well, I agree
with that. If you can make beer, you can make some whiskey.
I mean,
600.
Like I'm going to be out selling it or nothing like that.
Exactly.
But
well, shit.
I can make my own shine and then age it down here in Texas. I mean, I've got a wild turkey barrel right over there. I could pour a bunch of shine off in that thing, let it age down here in Texas for a few years, and I got some pretty damn good whiskey.
I mean, shit, they got the shit on. It's on the shelves here, moonshine. It's either straight shine or it's flavored watermelon. You fucking name it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the different weird flavors.
Yeah, and so they're selling the shit right now.
I've got one. A friend of mine sent me a sample of White Lightning from Florida, and it's really good. I'm not sure what this guy's recipe is, but he knows what he's doing. It's good.
All right, let me have one more last mixture. Bless you.
I knew it was coming.
I will be right back. I gotta run outside, talk to man about a horse.
Okay, see a man about a horse.
You know where it's at. Thank you. Like I said, I could feel it coming on. I was like, is it coming? No. And then all of a sudden, here it comes. Boom.
Well, The worst ones are the ones that give you about a half a second warning. It just pops, and then you're
you barely get your arm up.
you're trying not to spray anybody or anything.
Yeah, it comes from the toes and shoots straight out. It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, trust me. Well, one thing for sure I could say, this has been a good stream. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and going through these Bruichladdich like this was really good. The only thing that's going to be better is tearing into those ones on my dining room table from you.
Oh, the samples?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm already working on the next batch. We'll do this every 2 months. That's good time. Every 2 months we'll do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I told them I'm sick. So no, I'm not going in the morning, but I will be at the doctor's office in the morning. So
I'll probably go for another 10 or 15. I got to get up at 4:30 a.m. East Coast time. That's always fun.
Oh, you're a sick bastard.
Yeah, I got
4:30 in the morning? That's just wrong.
I got to go to the gym with the wife, check out the Sheilas inconspicuously.
Okay, then.
I'm harmless. Too old.
No, Ben. I'm not.
I think Ben's liable to go live here shortly on his Riding Dirty Home stream. He's heading back
to a long ride. I mean, shit, from Kentucky to New York, that's a fucking haul.
Yeah.
It is. I won't be streaming here in a couple more minutes, but like I said, I was saying to Greg, I said this was a really good stream. I thoroughly enjoyed going through the Bruichladdich. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation with everybody. It was extremely intuitive and back and forth, and just what I like. It was lively. We had to slow it down when Greg come on because he doesn't process as quick. So we just have to.
You got to respect the elderly.
That's right. Exactly right. We do. But
I can't say the Octomore stuff is really good. I mean, if you like peated stuff, but there are many options otherwise. Like Ardbeg 10, Ugadal, Lagavulin. There's a lot of other options that have peated stuff in them that are really good. You don't have to spend $200 to get you a bottle of Octomore.
No,
a lot of other options besides that.
I'll tell you, a good one that you held up was that Ardnamurchan's good.
Yeah, Ardnamurchan, and they're another younger distillery, but fantastic whiskey, really good. Yeah. And they put in a lot of cask strength type stuff too.
Yep.
So
I got. I think they don't put out as much as they used to, but a place in DC called Potomac Wine and Spirits used to get some of the bottles that were at Jack Rose's saloon. They shipped some over to there, and I got like an Octomore, or not an Octomore, but an Ardnamurchan, a Klein Leash, like an independent bottle like Anthony had, and a Kalila that they put out from there that was from Jack Rose. And it was like indie bottles. It was so fucking good. What was that?
The 11-year. 11-year.
Was that an Offerman?
Yep, Offerman.
Which one?
The charred oak cask.
I mean, now I can palate that. Where when I first opened that, I said it was absolute shit. Yeah.
How do you really feel, Anthony?
I did not like the charred oak. I did not like the charred oak.
Was it better than Long Row or worse than Long?
Long Row?
He's count the countdown before Anthony cuts my live feed. 4, 3, 2.
So you're talking about Long Branch.
I mean, Long Branch. Yeah,
like Long Row is good. You're referring to Long Branch. Yeah, it was right up there. I mean, at that time I reviewed that. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know which one was worse, but at the time when I drank that charred oak, I was like, are you shitting me? How could you ruin a perfectly good Scotch? Really?
It's not bad.
I've tried 2, 3, and 4. So I've tried the Guinness, the Chart.
The Guinness is sublime. The Charred Oak was crap.
And then
I'm partial to Guinness anyway, so you know.
The Offerman in the Caribbean rum cask, that's good.
Yeah,
I bought the original Offerman.
Okay.
So that one I never tried.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
was the first batch?
I will say this: it was good, but if I would have had it, let's say in 2019, 2020, whenever it came out, I probably would have said, you know what, buy the 16 instead.
Yeah,
because
for a few bucks more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The 16 is for me. The 16 is a bottle you need on the shelf. I mean, it's a bottle everybody should have on the shelf. If you like Scotch and you like peated Scotch, everybody should have at least one bottle of that on the shelf, just for other people to try, so they can see if they would like it or not. And granted, it's went up a little bit in price in the last few years, but it's still a fantastic, quintessential Scotch.
Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. It's one of those that if you're a Scotch drinker, you got that damn thing on your shelf.
Yeah.
If not, then that's sacrilegious.
Yeah.
How can you not?
In 16 years, everything starts to tamp down a little bit. It gets more rounded. It's more easy to grip on. It doesn't smack you in the face and beat you about the head and shoulders. It's a nice, relaxing, good peated Scotch.
That's right. Not like the first time you sipped Lagavulin and it sent your head back like you got hit with a 2x4. Yeah.
Lafroig, it's like, oh God.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say Lafroig, Ardbeg Pirate is like, oh my gosh, that's
Are you or Ugadal? There's one.
Oh yeah.
I love me some Ugadal. I mean that's when I'm out right now. I gotta get another bottle of that because that's one of the bottles I'm gonna keep on my shelf because people that come up and they like peat or they may not, but they may like brisket. I'm like, oh well, here, try this.
Absolutely.
Because, that Ardbeg Ugadal is just like brisket burn ends to me. I mean, it's just unctuous and meaty and dang, it's one of those kind of peats. It's different. It's different than any other peat you're going to try.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've read some good things about that new thing they put out, the Eureka. It's like 104 or 5 proof, the Ardbeg. Okay. I think it hasn't quite made it in like volume over here, but it's
okay.
It's supposed to be pretty good, the Ardbeg Eureka.
Okay, I'll be looking for that later.
It's kind of like the Barbecue, which you all haven't tried yet. The Barbecue was pretty good too. It's like
there you go, Mark. Yeah, the quarter cask. That's good too.
Oh, that quarter cask is. Quarter cask is, but they know they've got to watch those.
The first Lafroig that I actually liked was the Lore. That was the first one that I tried that was, it was peaty, but it wasn't Lafroig 10. It didn't have that Band-Aids and hate kind of flavor, And that was like, oh, there's differences. That was the first one that kind of crossed in my mind. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that this was possible. So I started delving off a little bit deeper into some of the different peated things. And I love it now. I love some peated stuff.
I can't remember what year it was, but there was actually a cartridge that was a quarter cask. It was a few years back. That was,
okay,
quarter cask. I can't remember what year it was.
I've got a couple of different cartridges behind me right now. I mean, they're good.
True, there were,
and they are completely different than the 10.
Yeah, they're good and they're hard to find, but some of the old Lagavulin 12s that used to come in the green, just a green box that looked like the 16 bottle, those are usually pretty good, but they're really hard to find.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you are absolutely right. But that's why we go hunting. See what we find, and especially when you can pop into new places and that you've never been, and you never know what you'll find there. To them, it just didn't move, and they got it at a good price, and so you pick it up. I mean, I hear stories like that all the time, where people walk into places just off the beaten path, and boom, they get a good deal. Or
freaking Ben and that guy, he runs into stuff all the time like that.
There you go. Eric Anderson said that's a cartridge. It was a 17. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the cartridge was a quarter cask.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
You know what? And I found I found an 18 Lagavulin 12 about 2 years ago, just sitting in the store. Nobody wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe $1.40, $1.50. I said, "I'll take that, please," because it came in the old box with the old label that looks like.
Then thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. If you can get it, buy it. You can get it, buy it.
Because even around here, most people just go ape shit for the bourbon stuff. I mean, there are some people that enjoy the single malt and stuff, but most everybody's waiting in line, putting their lawn chair out, 12 hours before they open the next day for the bourbon when they do their drops and shit.
And that's fine.
Same here. Same here. I'm not getting that.
I've gotten a lot more into the Scotch in the last 2 years, and I kind of prefer it. Now, granted, this is coming from a guy that was raised in Western Kentucky. So, I've drank my fair share of whiskeys and bourbons for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I totally get you.
Nowadays, I'm older, palate has changed, and I like me some Scotch a lot more than I do a whiskey or I take it back, a bourbon or a rye. But then again, some of the ryes and some of the whiskeys that I've had recently, I'm like, hey, this is not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
One that really surprised me was the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. I'm like, oh, damn, this is freaking good.
Yeah.
I did not expect that from Jack Daniel's, because I'm used to Jack Daniel's 7. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, Jack Daniel's for the past few years has been on a pretty good run. They put out some really, really good special releases. And then the single barrels that they've been doing and stuff like the rye and stuff, they've been on a pretty good run lately.
Yeah. And then they're coming out with a 12 and the 14-year-old stuff, stuff like that.
12, 14, then their annual releases. They've been doing pretty well with their stuff.
Yeah. They're reading the market pretty dang well, and they're responding really good.
Mm-hmm. Well,
good to hydrate, brothers.
Oh yeah, I'm just about done with all of this that I had since I started the stream. But speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and end it here and say thank you to everybody in chat, and thank you to the people that joined me here today on the stream.
Except for that old guy from the home.
That's all right. I'm just surprised the orderlies haven't come and drug you away yet.
Yeah, no joke.
When they do the head count, you're not in the room. But this was a good stream. I am so glad that we had done it, and I'm so glad that it all worked out, and that you two could join me tonight, because it was an absolutely brilliant discussion tonight, particularly when it comes to Bruichladdich. And I know it's a distillery that I like, and I know it's a distillery that a lot of other people like also. So it was just something I said, what the heck? Let's do that tonight, and let's talk some Bruichladdich, because I know that there is an expression in there that everybody can like. That's for darn sure.
There you go.
And thank you, Paker House. We really appreciate you. Mr. Mom, really, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
And Mark will give
whiskey, y'all.
There you go. He's got the closing words.
Yeah, that's right. We
Cheers,
appreciate
y'all.
you, Bourbon Engineer. Thank you. Against My Odds, thank you. Appreciate you being here and coming on here. Mark, always enjoy you being here. And
thank you, Anthony.
We look forward to seeing you next week. And hopefully Marty will let us know when we can start drinking Greg's whiskey, because that's what we all look forward to.
I got 4 samples right here. I've been dying to dive off into, but I haven't.
The only other persons I like more, the only other whiskey I like more to drink is Shane's whiskey. So hopefully when he comes back into the country, I'll get him to send us all something, and we can discuss it on the channel. But
there you go.
Until next week, people.
All right.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again. You all have a good night. Cheers.
Love y'all. Peace, love, and whiskey.